All right, everybody, how we doing? Check into the stream. How we doing tonight? It's February 5th, 2025. I'm Andy Mercado, and we are live. We're live on Facebook. We're live on the YouTube, across the freaking board. Everybody check in. How we doing? What up, iBlue? How we doing? Good to see you, buddy. iBlue is tuned in. What up, Dark Designs? Thank you so much. Porcelain Heart, I appreciate the support there with that. Thank you so much. What up, Johnny? You guys are awesome in the stream earlier. Oh yeah, obviously we're gonna have trolls come in when we do streams like that, when I do content like that, but most of the chat was solid and I appreciate all that. So all right, so today, like I told you guys, that we had a protest across all 50 states. They're happening still, or are going to happen at some point. But I was just in Minnesota. I'm still in my outdoor clothes. in my street clothes. I'm out here. Had to do the most. So, I mean, it was cold out there. It was very, very cold, like 20 degrees, but it felt like 9. You know what I mean? Because of the wind chill. And way more people showed up than I thought. Like a lot more. A shitload of people came. I honestly like I'm not kidding. I was expecting maybe like 20 people. I didn't, because like it was an event organized on Reddit, and it wasn't like an official organization that was like behind it. There was no that's why I found it, if anything, it was a pretty effective protest, because they just showed up with the blowhorn, megaphone, and were like, if you want to say something, go ahead. And now you can do that. So it was literally just like randoms. I mean, that's when you get the most people speaking for the first time too. That's how like the 2020 protests started, was just like people just showing up in Minneapolis after the riots. I'm talking about at post riots. For protests, people would literally just show up, and it'd be new people every time, and they would be like, well, I don't public speak and I'm not good at this, which is like 90% of us. Like there's only like, no, I'd say there's only a small percentage of people that can like public speak in front of like hundreds, if not thousands. In 2020, it was like tens of thousands of people. That's pretty intimidating, right? And so it went really well, because it was just kind of like a cluster. It was literally a cluster of people. There was obviously people far left out there. There were liberals out there, maybe angry conservatives that obviously voted against Donald Trump and voted for Harris this year or whatever, last year, whatever. There was literally a cluster. I saw Soviet flags out there. There was a immigrant that came from, I think, from Russia. He talked about it specifically. He said, I came from Putin's oligarchy, specifically. I mean, there were immigrants out there. There were teachers out there. LGBTQ was fully represented. Working class completely. It was literally like everyone that I've like, all the different types of people were there. Obviously not MAGA Republicans, which actually they were. There was like 2 of them holding like a Trump 2024 flag, like behind everybody, and they're like sitting and holding it. But I mean, so they were there too. Well, they just can't, you already know them. They can't go, they can't just go be by themselves or just be happy that they won the election. They have to like infiltrate any space that's against them. But if you notice that, you guys ever notice that people on the left, and I think this goes for even the far left, or people that are further left than me, nobody goes to right wing unless it's like people like myself that watch the content. But you guys aren't going into that. You guys aren't going into like right wing streamers or right wing content creators ever, and just like being there. Like you want to hang out with like what it's just like, it's always the complete opposite. It's always like the right wing, and this goes for all like liberal to far left content. I'm talking, this is everybody that's, or even now rhinos or people that are right wing, but I guess you're not right wing enough anymore. They like, well, they'll come into all of our spaces always and just like troll. Nobody does it. No one goes into theirs. I look at all the chats. There might be like 1 or 2 when I'm watching like MAGA chats or like MAGA. It's literally just like spam though. So like, even if you are a real person, that's why you probably aren't hanging out in like MAGA streams, because it's full of spam, full of just like bots, full of like, you can't even, if you wanted to be noticed in a MAGA chat, you couldn't do it anyways because of just the nonsense. It's impossible. It doesn't even feel like you're watching like a real person. And I'm not saying that there are streams that have like lots of viewers and it's tough to like keep up with the chat. I'm talking like straight up, just nothing of value there. That's why they're like all in our shit. That's why they come to ours, because they know there's real people here, and they know that they're like gonna try to get reactions out of people. They'll at least try. But I just made it a conscious note of that today. I'm like, I don't, because the only way I interact with like right wing content now is like counterintelligence, to where like I'm watching a Fox News segment to find out what the lies are, if that makes sense. I'm not watching it to like get information. I'm not watching it to, well, it's like I am getting information, but not Like, it's not like I'm injecting it right into me like this is truth. It's like, where's the lies that is being said here? It's different. Same thing with how we would analyze Russian state media and propaganda when I was covering Ukraine for the past 3 years. It's very similar. It's almost kind of like I think the origin point over there for majority of it. But today it was a good protest though. Showed up. Obviously, like I said, it was cold. And so that already, like the fact that there were like probably 1,000 people, I'd say they're up to 1,000, definitely in the upper hundreds. You know what I mean? Like like 800 to 1,000 people were out there at the peak time. And it was like I said, it was 20 degrees. It felt like 9. And even for Minnesotans, that's cold. And that's like, I mean, even at the height of the Black Lives Matter protests, people would be out there, but it would be cold. But you dressed for it. Like I got my full winter gear on, but more people went than I expected and it just kind of shows that it's not a made up like internet anger right now of like what's happening in the United States. It's like it's felt by many people, and this protest and the other protests that are happening across the country are showing it. My hair's off. I literally just had time to get a coffee, so my hair is gonna be fucked from my hat too. It shows that people are genuinely like not okay with this administration, and of course, you know, you're always gonna say, well, why didn't they show up in 2024? Like, you know, we can't go back in time. The same way I talk to Maga, I have to talk to everybody that's gonna be cynical about everything. Like that will just waste time. The more we're cynical about it, the less time we have to undo what the fuck happened. Okay. And that's, I mean, I was the strongest Kamala warrior. No one was, I don't know if anyone else was a Kamala warrior like I was, posting it all over my shit. Okay. And I know that a lot of people are going to be involved that, you know, a lot of the things that we're going through right now we could have had a different outcome. But we don't have that, and we can't go back in time, right? Just like when Trump says his dumb shit, you know, this wouldn't have happened if I was president. We can't do this one. Obviously. Okay. No shit, right? This shit wouldn't be happening if Kamala would have won. Okay, good. Then what, right? What does that do other than just like, and then you just what? Go sit down, you know? Like that doesn't do anything afterwards. That's why Trump does it. So I don't think we can do it on the other end of it because it's serious on our end, or it's not, they don't think it's serious. Well, they don't take anything about the United States seriously, but like what the United States is supposed to stand for. So they're going to lie and whatever the fuck they want anyways. Okay. So we can't like be cynical. There's going to be a period for it, like right now for sure. And I'm definitely like, I already roasted the dude who posted on Twitter about, hey, Gaza is speaking now, bitch, Kamala. I was already like, is this you? Because they already posted like, we got to stop this. It's like, damn, dude. Like, but like, I think that time of being cynical needs to be quick. Like, do it, get it off your chest, and then move on, because this is a bigger problem than thinking about like what Trump would do. Well, this wouldn't have happened if blah 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 was president. Like, yes, for sure it wouldn't have. But that's a Republican cope. But for our side, it's actually the truth of it. I've already asked my chat personally multiple times in the past like week or two, how many Republican truths have you heard at all? Just in the past 4 years. Just 4 years. Have you heard any Republican truths at all? Has anything Republicans have just outright came out and claimed true? No. The truth is no. Nothing. Not a single one. Not a single thing. Not a single claim has been true, to the point where all the investigations in the House held by Comer and others have all failed, to the point where the sources of any claim for Biden crime family and all that nonsense literally came from Russian and Chinese agents, and they were indicted for it and lying. Nothing ever came from like a Republican claim ever. It's always feelings and like saying what nobody will say, which like, yeah, everyone has like unconscious biases, and like gut feelings about things, but we need facts. Like, what happened to facts over feelings? I guess that was a quick thing. That was just like a facts over feelings was just like a 2015 to like 2017 little slogan for conservatives, I think. Just a quick one. Now they don't. Now it's like my feelings are facts. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Anyways, the protest in Minnesota went well. There was a permit, so there was coordination with the state officials, with the police and the law enforcement. It wasn't like anything. I mean, I don't like, for me it's like you're splitting hairs when you're talking about like a protest, but do it like a protest is like in theory supposed to not follow rules, right? It's supposed to like be good trouble. Obviously a protest is not a riot. I'm never going to say that cringe ass shit, right? That's a riot. You're burning buildings and stuff, right? I'm talking about people gathering and like doing what you saw today. Okay. Doing what you saw today. So it was good. People got to speak their mind. A lot of people in the chat had asked like me to go speak, and I'm like, not really. Like, I speak right now and I have access to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people all the time. Like, I can go live and I have access to the most people. A lot of the people that were out there speaking for the first time ever, they're like, I've never spoke to a group of people before. I never even spoke to that's their time. And then I can spread their message with my platform that I speak on. I talk a lot already. I already feel like I talk a lot. So, I mean, at these events, unless like I'm invited to speak at it, probably not going to. Okay. Unless it's like, you know, they're like, hey, we want you to come say some words, then like maybe, you know. But like, if I'm just like showing up to something, I'm not going to like center myself. Does that make sense? Because I already center myself right now and later when I'm streaming video games or whatever. So there's like a time and place for it. But I do thank you guys for wanting me to get up there and say some stuff. And maybe like if it was an event where there wasn't so many speakers and people were nervous and it was kind of awkward, then maybe, you know, maybe I would have been like, okay, I'll do it. But there were people like left and right up there speaking. Like there's a lot of people that are upset. So I didn't have to. We're going to have photos from Chris June. Coming soon. And what else? Yeah, I mean, there was a wide range of messages too, mostly focused on working class, which is what I've been telling you guys. It's the most important, although the like nucleus, like if we can focus on class issues, that affects all of the niche issues. If you start centering, I'm just being so honest, if you start centering niche issues, that's when people suck. Okay. But people will start tuning out because they think you're just thinking about the one thing and then you don't care about anything else. I didn't make the rules. People are dumb. I get it. But like when we focus on class problems, that actually literally does affect everybody. And it branches into the other culture war, other problems that we have. So it was really good that at least like across because there were liberals out there, there were the far left out there. The Palestine protesters were out there. There were the water protectors were out there. People that are like climate activists were out there. And people that had never been to a protest were out there. You know, maybe even right. I don't even know. Like I said, maybe there were like a couple of conservatives that were just standing in the crowd because they like aren't okay with this, but they don't know what you were told all your whole life that protests are bad or protests are evil, or that's what Democrats do. And that's evil. No. So it was just like a good collection of like voices. I don't think a single issue was left out. I don't think a single, like in terms of social issues that we do have, but like it was very class focused. Obviously, I'm not really going to be supportive of like the communist message, just personally. I'm going to be more supportive of like a progressive approach towards what people were saying personally. But you know, it's freedom of speech. If we have people in the government that are outright full on far right fascist, I don't care if like a person from the Communist Party who has no power at all, they have nothing and no hope at all to ever have power. I don't care if like they speak at this point, because we already have the far right like in the government. Like if they're going to be out there talking, sure. Far left, the opposite end, sure. They're out there too. Which I've already been to plenty of like communist, actual conservative is communist. Like I always thought this as a child. And then obviously now as an adult, I know there's levels to this shit. I know there's levels to it. So I've actually been to actual full-blown communist rallies. Not really supportive of it at all still, even after the indoctrination of it. Like there's some good social, maybe like socialist aspects of it, of like cutting out like capitalist middlemen, which like from like the worker to like the supplier. For example, like if you want to buy eggs from the farm, you know, that'd be like removing that middleman, or like the store base. I don't know, like, but obviously this is never going to take over in the US. So it's like, and that it was never supposed to happen with fascism either. They're obviously going to have their far right ideas, but they were never supposed to, like in America, we're supposed to be like a democracy, not like an extremist takeover of like the government. Of course, you're going to have those more extreme elements in each, because we only get two parties. So you're going to have like extreme elements within the politics of each side. But there's not one far left, like actual far left politician. And there's not one single state has anyone in any local or state office that has a actual communist. So, but even though they were out there, they said their shit. A lot of people that were just honestly just concerned with Elon Musk. There's a guy, I posted a clip too already, which by the way, I need help. Roz Alerts actually shared, I need something like this. I need someone when I'm out there streaming like I'm doing, or even these, what's happening? We're in the void. Why are we in the void? Hold on, you guys. Let me fix our void. When I'm streaming, I need somebody to clip my content and post it for me, because I can't do 100 things at once. I really can't. I try to. Okay, we good? I try to. It doesn't work well for me. I can't. I just wish I could. I try to do so much. But Roz Alerts, who we've gotten some updates from for current events, shared a clip of my stream, and they credited me, which that's fine. I don't care. Like, as long as they credit me. Like, you can re-upload it as long as you like tag me like they did here. But they clipped my stream I did. Someone must have told them that I was on YouTube, because I couldn't. I tried streaming to X and YouTube and Facebook, and the mobile does not work for me. I need to probably invest and save up or fundraise for IRL stream stuff, because I have my phone and it looked good. But I'm talking like Ford Fisher from News to Share and Brendan and some of these other guys that do IRL streaming and stuff all the time. They have the box. They have like the signal box to the satellite. That's like I have to pay like a subscription fee to it, and it's fine. We can afford it. It's just we had to buy the equipment to do so I can have I can even have even better streams, even higher quality streams. But I'm going off of cell phone data is tough out there.
Elon Musk bullshit, whatever, for taking away my boyfriend's fucking rights. Deport Musk! Deport Musk! Deport Musk! Deport Musk! Deport Musk! Stop the coup! Stop the coup! Stop the coup! Impeach Trump! Impeach Trump! Impeach Trump!
If anything I've learned, protests are anything but useless. All right, people that are saying protests are useless, like ignorant. I used to think that. I promise you, I used to think that. And then I lived through all of 2020. I went to Ukraine and watched the free Azovstal protests, trying to get the Azov free from the Russians. So I've seen foreign protests, they're getting released, and there still needs to be more releases for Azov in the prisoner exchanges, but they absolutely work.
Go back! We will not go back! Trans lives matter! Trans lives matter! Trans lives matter! Fuck Donald Trump! Fuck
Guys, you got to realize MAGA is just upset that they couldn't watch all the Minnesotans here raid the Capitol building. That's really why. Because like that's what they do. And so like that's the bar that they've set for like when you're upset about an election. So they were like thinking, oh man, they're going to get the same, both sides are the same. Absolutely. And then when that doesn't happen, they don't know how to act and they crash out. And then they just start like, they like flail. But they absolutely expect, because you know why? Because of the 2020, because riots in the 2020. So they'll just think, well, they're going to go out there and riot. Can't wait. But none of whatever happened, everything that happened in 2020 was not politically motivated. It wasn't for a political party. It wasn't for a politician. It was for police brutality, because the police were like murdering people in broad daylight. Murdered George Floyd in broad daylight. So that's why people went out there. They weren't out there to like, we got to go riot because we got to make sure Joe Biden wins. We're going to go out there and riot for Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe. He's not the president. Trump is. But we want him to win. So we're going to go riot. No. That's insane. But guess who did that? MAGA. Trump supporters. They went out and rioted directly for political related issues. MAGA is definitely using the fascist playbook. The 2026 midterms are a little doubtful at a rate. Trump is straight him out. We'll see. You know, if actions like these keep happening, it'll be easy. As long as the Democrats, if that's what, it's still going to be the Democratic Party for now, until I see like a third party that even has a chance. Right now, like they don't. But still, to this day, I mean, I know, and that's the other thing I heard out there was there were some out there that were like both parties. There are definitely a lot of like Democrats out there. Actually, this is the first protest I saw with people that are, like, they had Walls and Harris signs out there. I mean, that I know, like there's some in the crowd. Here's a good photo. I have a bunch of photos are coming. I was out there snapping pics when I was streaming. But people will probably disagree on that, right? People will definitely disagree on the left side of like what's best for America. And for me, it's like whoever the best chance of winning, that's what matters. Because without winning, it doesn't matter in politics. Like, we got to just be serious. You got to be so serious, especially in the United States of America. If you want to be a serious person, you got to make serious statements. And dreaming of like starting anew of anything, yeah, MAGA is going to further that. Maybe that's why a lot of the more extreme are like okay with MAGA, because they'll tear down the country, but with a nuance. Tear it down and make ultra fascist crypto fascism cyberpunk world. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, that'll definitely destroy the status quo for sure. With a new one, not one that's going to be favorable to American workers or like people that are disenfranchised whatsoever. So like, I implore, please, like this, the one that has the best chance of winning. And then just like MAGA is doing, if that person, if it's the Democratic Party, which it's looking like it still will be, if that person isn't like after they win, because they have to win, and then you primary them if they're not like following through on policies, or if that's when you have to do it, but you can't do it unless they don't hold the power. I know you're like, well, if they're not MAGA enough on the right wing, it's like that's fucked up, and they're gonna be MAGA now. Well, that's what they're doing, because it's what works and it's how you win. So if the left wants to win, Democrats have to win, at least right now, because I don't see a third party that has the ability to fundraise or has status or power within the government. None of them do. Maybe what you do is just do a Trump and find somebody that's left leaning but isn't like in the Democratic Party. You know, that could work. Someone that isn't like a politician, left-leaning, progressive, you know, isn't afraid to say what they want to say, isn't afraid to clap back at the Republicans and not play both sides in unity games. Sure, that exists out here. Sure, that exists, and people could get behind that as long as they're not dumb or likable enough, right? Because you still have to be this has to be someone popular, and I don't dictate that. I do not dictate that. Like I said, I think AOC is pretty popular, but like I don't know about presidency yet. I think AOC needs a stronger place in like the Democratic Party. Same with Jasmine Crockett, Jamie Raskin, and a few others that are not like playing games right now, basically. And I know that like it's just what it is. Like until I see a third party that is not cooked or committing fraud or whatever, I just, there's no other chance right now. So it matters to win. And then once you win, if they're not committed, if they're not progressive, get another Democrat that's more progressive, just like Maga does to their Republican politicians. If you're a rhino now, afuera. And it isn't like loyal to a Democratic president. That's not what I'm saying. They're not loyal to the American people, or if they're not abiding by their campaign promises. Because that's what, I mean, if anything, yes, Trump has a cult of personality around him. And like, if you don't support him, then you're not MAGA anymore. But he also like his bombastic campaign promises, at least in theory, he gives through executive orders, he gives his voters what they're asking for. You know what I mean? So there doesn't need to be like a cult of personality around like somebody on the left. It just needs to be someone that's going to follow through on their progressive policies. Obama did pretty good at it. You know, he didn't do much to, he lowered numbers in the Middle East, but like drone strikes continued, and he was very weak on Ukraine. And if anything, the administration did not do much to stifle Putin during that time. But he kept his promises when it comes to like healthcare and the ACA, and Biden did too, but the Democrats just suck at promoting what he did in a cool way. You can't come out and say these are the policies that were implemented. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. Like they gotta, I don't know, do Squid Games or something. Then you can find out what the policy is at the end. I don't know, like, or I don't know. I honestly think, and I heard it in a video, but do you know how we could get a lot of people on board to support the fact that climate change is real, right? So obviously, like global warming, that one didn't work. That was a bad one. Climate change, Democrats say that. You can't have that because Democrats say that. I'm gonna start calling it from now on, and you guys can feel free to get on board. We're gonna start calling it the war on climate. I think a lot of people could get behind that. I want to go to war with climate. That thing is becoming ridiculous. There are ways we can fight it, but it is a war, all right? So that's what I'm going to be calling climate change and whatever from now on. Personally, I think we could get more people on board with that. Work formulating propaganda live, sure. Whatever you want to call it, you. Yep. At least I'm here with my process to how to reach people better. MAGA Republicans get the money directly from Russia, and the Russians send them a telegram saying this is what you need to say to Republicans. So pick and choose what you want, you. Either you get to hear me talk about it out loud, or you get to watch the other side get Russian money and say what they got to say. So I'm going to go with the war on climate when it comes to talking about climate change, because that's definitely a big issue too. And that was another topic that was spoken about at this protest in Minnesota, which they were very good. We have a lot of really solid climate activists and people that know what they're doing with that in Minnesota, and they have a big crowd, and they protest at the governor's mansion, and they've done that often. So that was another topic. I mean, I couldn't, every issue, and there were every type of person was out there. Elderly. Here's a clip from the guy. This guy had just, I didn't get his name. I should have. He walked away, but he was waiting up there. He was like, he's 2 days from turning 70 years old.
I am a senior citizen. I turned 70 in 2 days, and I am worried about my Social Security. And another thing that really freaking pisses me off is that I looked at Google, and I don't know what you call it. Is it a thread or whatever? But they always say to take care of your personal information. They say to take care of your Social Security number.
How about war on misinformation? That's too long. How about the war on lies?
Well, we got a guy that we didn't vote for security numbers with 4 unelected kids. That ain't right, is it? No, it ain't right. And I'm worried, and I know if I'm worried, you're worried. Before I remember when Trump got elected, and I felt bad, and I knew shit was gonna happen, but we stood together. We stood together, and we made shit work. And now, by God, now is the time. We will not go quietly into the night.
So that is, I mean, just great words. I mean, he's like, I don't say anything. I don't really say a whole lot. I don't do this, but and he had some words to say. We got a guy we didn't vote for, and he goes into the Treasury Department, takes our social security numbers. That ain't right. A near 70-year-old elderly man says to the crowd. You see the National Guard is being called up for Saturday to be on duty. What's going on Saturday? No. What's happening on Saturday now? Damn straight. Christ. Gramps was lit. Yeah, he was. What is happening on Saturday? What do you mean? What is the protest fighting for? The American worker, the working class, which include everybody. Which includes like what? I think 90% of America. 95% of the United States, if not more. And if you don't feel included in that, well then fine. I don't know, like this one was not focused on any sort of, there was no, there were all the chants. Every chant I've ever heard in the past like 5 years was out there, including some new ones. Deport Elon Musk, or the deny, defend, oppose one was crazy. That one was crazy. That was a new one, or at least I haven't heard that. Maybe activists have been saying it. I just haven't heard it yet. Any intelligent comments? Locked our people out of the Treasury Department. It's BS. We need to lock Elon Musk out. Yeah, that was a common gripe that was also in the crowd, was Elon's existence within the American government and his takeover of the presidency, essentially. Oh, also, there's a 1.9% chance an asteroid will hit Earth in 2032. Good news. Good news. It's finally happening. Oh boy. So we got a 1.9% chance. So you're saying there's a chance. 98.1% chance the asteroid will miss Earth. All right. So let's go 2032. I know that's what I said. I said finally. Elon Musk and his engineers at Doge have a security clearance. Incredible. Incredible work. What does this mean? Elon sharing it. It's about him.
If you heard that type of violent, enticing rhetoric from our side of the aisle, from Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, I think there would be a lot more outrage in this room today.
What is the words? What is she talking about?
It's unacceptable, the comments that have been made by these Democrat leaders, and frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because President Trump was elected with a mandate from the American people to make this government more efficient. He campaigned across this country.
Oh, they're coping about, so because because like anyone with common sense is upset about Elon's position in the government. So he's sharing out. So they're like, did you ever notice how like, for the first 3 weeks, it's just like they're all about each other. They're all about themselves, and the news is like just about them. And then Trump's awful attempts so far at like tariffs and other threats that have not gone his way, so he has to like back out of them now.
With Elon Musk vowing that Elon was going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency, and the two of them, with a great team around them, were going to look at the receipts of this federal government and ensure it's accountable to American taxpayers. That's all that is happening here. And for Democrat officials to incite violence and encourage Americans to take to the streets is incredibly alarming, and they should be held accountable for that.
Oh, kiss my ass. kiss my ass. The president right now literally just released 1,500 violent criminals that are domestic terrorists from the DC jail that assaulted police officers. And then we're like, at least 3 of them that made the news were like freaking CP addicts, and they like found out and were like killed now. So that's fine. Because the police, they like were in a traffic stop. I think one of them survived, but the other one died. Yeah, I don't want to hear that there's people protesting. Like, we're not like, so there, remember 2020? A lot of you probably were like on the opposite end of that. You were like probably maybe caught up in a little right-wing propaganda about the truth. And yeah, I'll give it to you. The first week in Minneapolis, the buildings were on fire. Riots were nuts. Full condemn about the riots. And I did that when I was out there on the streets. Afterwards, though, it became about just protesting and people gathering and using free speech. It's so funny. These people will be so supportive of free speech until it's speech against them, until it's speech that is not what they are talking about. Contrary speech. Talk about alternative goes contrary, original speech. They don't like that. They don't like independent thought. Not at all. So protesting, I'm actually not sorry. Go fuck yourself. It's free speech, and people can do that to the point where people even go above and beyond. And in a theory, in a protest, you don't have to, but just to make sure the protest crowd is safe, usually in the United States. And if it's a government that is supportive of protests, like in Minnesota, you got to usually do some coordination, and like you work with the government. You'll say, hey, we got to make sure we get a permit, make sure that you have the law enforcement out there, because motherfuckers will drive through protests crowds, like MAGA will drive through crowds of people. So, you call to make sure you have like protection for the crowd, basically. And you can do that. You can use the police for that, but often, like for the past few years, people haven't wanted to because of, well, especially in the 2020 protests, obviously that was focused on police brutality. So the idea of like having the police come and protect the crowd that's protesting them didn't really add up. So a lot of the organizations were able to develop a way to protect the crowd themselves with marshals and vehicles. And they'll use their own vehicles to like create like a box around the march of the crowd, because people will drive through people. So that's worked. Direct coordination with them. But that is like, that just will like, even as much of a gripe as people on the left will have with the, or whatever. I'm just not even gonna say on the left anymore, because I know for a fact there are tons of conservatives that aren't okay with this too. So I'm just gonna call it the rest of us, or I don't even know. I'll find a cool way to call us. But it's not even just like the left. It's like everyone else outside of MAGA, basically. We like will still follow the rules. You know what I mean? Like there is in a protest, just like MAGA showed us, you can apparently show up on the US Capitol grounds, break into the building, smash it in the US Capitol, assault police officers, and no problem, apparently. No problem, no permit needed, no permissions. And they didn't call ahead of time and say, hey, we're about to break into the Capitol building, smash everything, try to stall an election or something, try to stall a US election. You good with that? Obviously not. I'm memeing. But even people that like are speaking out against this government are doing it and following the rules. Which, again, in a protest, what does that mean? I don't know. That's up to every person will have a different idea. Some people will say there are no rules in a protest. I think there's like limits to where it like goes from protest to unrest to riot. I think you enter a different phase there. You know what I mean? Like it can start as a protest for sure, but then like depending on what happens, it can obviously change and morph into something else. But I'm not gonna we cannot play this game with MAGA and like as if they're gonna to everyone showing up to gather for protesting when we saw what they were doing in 4K when they lost an election. And yeah, a lot of these protests are more centered this time because again, the 2020 Black Lives Matter, that was a Black Lives Matter protests. That was protesting police brutality, like against more specifically Black lives in the United States of America, but also like over time, like, you know, minority groups, because it's not just Black lives that are targeted. It's most, you know, highly, but other people are too. And if anything, it could be like a class issue. It could, but there was a focus. It was focused, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having like focused protests about specific things. And that's that. And not like try to just, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And all lives matter and blah, blah, blah. It's like, so there's a time and place for that. And that's like now, actually. Okay. So like these protests are in response to the results of the election in a sense, but they aren't like trying to stop the election. The election already came and went. Trump is the full president. He's president now. He's been president for over 3 weeks. There's nothing to undo people, but like we have the freedom of speech. Like freedom of speech is not just limited to social media. And if anything, you have more speech IRL than you do on social media anyways. Why wouldn't you utilize that? You know what I mean? If you show up in person to something, people were out there swearing. They didn't know what to say. They're like, Donald Trump is a fucking, you know, they didn't know what they were, but they were saying it. Maybe on X, if you were to say that, Elon Musk might ban you. If you know what I mean? If you were out there with all the anti-Elon chants and the Elon, I saw Elon on a Sieg Heil poster. And maybe you post that on this platform, Elon bans you. You know, what kind of free speech is that? You have far more speech in person, it seems, oftentimes. Not always, though, because then the police can show up if it's something different, you know? So I've seen it both ways. But here, I mean, that's freedom of speech, especially if people gathering at like government buildings aren't doing what MAGA Republicans did and smash into them with anger because the election didn't go our way, everyone else's way or whatever. They have nothing to stand on with this. The right wing and Republicans and MAGA have nothing to stand on when it comes to talking about protests gathering. None. Zero. Zilch. Gone. You had the high ground maybe in 2020 after the riots, but not. I mean, the right wing took over. They were protesting governor mansions for the lockdowns first, so they were out there doing it first, out there protesting. I remember the Hawaiian shirts and the freaking Boogaloo boys at the governor's mansions back in 2020. This was before George Floyd was murdered. They were out there doing that shit, talking about this is a. Out there with the rifles at the mansion, at the Capitol buildings, all out there with the rifles. Let me go to the Discord here, go to some of the news. The left too weak to attempt a coup. There is no, is it a competition now? So now we didn't even attempt a coup to the left are too weak to do what we did. Is that what it is now? Incredible. You guys were denying that it was a coup for like the last 4 years. Now it was one, and now suck it liberals. Is true? Be honest. Is it suck it liberals? We did it. We won. We got away with it. Fuck you. That's what it is, huh? Be honest. Be honest. No, you don't have to time them out. Let them be honest, Danky. I feel you though. Let them be honest. And then remember everything that they're talking about, because the last 4 years that wasn't a coup, that wasn't an insurrection. There was no guns there. There was no violence. The only people that were and not to mention the FBI was in the crowd, and Antifa were the real ones that were responsible for doing it. And this guy named Ray Epps single-handedly like did it himself, and for like the last 4 years. And now it's like it was a coup. Suck it, liberals. Suck it, leftists. We did it. We got away with it. Just be right. That's facts. Yeah, it is what it is, right? Be so serious. It's much better that way. Maybe not, because then you can like pretend for a while and like play games. And that's why like don't even like play into right-wing rhetoric anymore. Like just like reject it completely. Like don't even play with it. Unless they're like completely just like being bombastically bigoted to you personally and like attacking you, then obviously just like block. But if they're just like saying things, anything, if a right-wing statement is made, ignore it. Right-wing feelings, just ignore them. That's the best way, I think. Like ignore them and pretend, because they won. They have nothing to fight for. What do they have to fight for? They're in the winner's circle. They won the presidency, the freaking Senate, the House, the Supreme Court. What do they have to fight for now? Now all they have to do is just troll everyone else. So who cares what the fuck they have to say anyways? There's nothing to argue. There's nothing to debate. Nothing to talk about. Ignore. And pretend like it's just like a barking chihuahua. Which they probably want to deport that too. Some of the photos from the rally, I haven't uploaded them yet. We'll have some from Chris. We'll have some from Chris who was out there and he's much better. I take in photography. I mean, I was freezing. I pulled out the, yeah, fuck their feelings because they don't care. Like they will pretend like they do when they lose. They'll pretend like they do when they lose, and they have all these theories and thoughts and stretching the truth and all this. But then when they win, they'll reveal their how they truly feel. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, we stormed the Capitol, and guess what? We got away with it. Suck it. You guys are too weak to do that. Like, why would you even then? If you realize that, then why would you even engage with this person? They're impossible, or like they want to further their own goals, and that's it. I saw a couple other videos of the protests that are happening. USA Today is covering some of them. Los Angeles is live now. Raining today. They've been covering the various protests throughout the day. USA Today, nobody was out in Minneapolis or St. Paul. Not one mainstream media platform was out there in St. Paul. They were in the sky. I think they took some B-roll of like the sky. Not one of them were out there. What? AP News has good coverage too? I don't know if they're live right now, but they were. So they're gathering in LA. They've been out there the last few days. There was a fox chopper and a firm. Oh, that was it? Oh, here you go. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. AP was out there in St. Paul. Oh, okay. This is where they were set up? There's me. Okay, so they were up on the steps. Trump also signed an executive order today banning transgender athletes. I think that's what there was one in Philadelphia. We'll come back to some of these really quick. Let's go through a couple other news stories that I might have missed.
I want to make this a really good signature because this is, this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
The last time Donald was surrounded by this many children, he was on Epstein Island.
With this executive order, the war on women's sports is over. Under the Trump administration, we will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women. With my action this afternoon, we're putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice that if you let men take over women's sports teams or invade your locker rooms, you will be investigated for violations of Title IX and risk your federal funding. There will be no federal funding. So when the Olympics comes to Los Angeles in 2028, my administration will not stand by and watch men beat and batter female athletes, and we're just not going to let it happen, and it's going to end, and it's ending right now, and nobody's going to be able to do it.
So this is what Republicans do. They ban things that don't exist or aren't even like a problem at all, and they stretch the truth of like what is a problem, and then they clap, and then regular like working class Americans clap like fucking seals. Like, yeah, Trump doing a good, Trump helping me, while he's like destroying your ability to be able to live in like the next 20 years because he's destroying your social security and like taking your taxes and giving tax breaks to billionaires, letting Elon Musk like control your life now. This good. This is what I voted for sure. Okay, so executive order now, which Trump doesn't have power in the states, so any states that have the ability for transgender individuals to compete in sports, like, suck it. Like if a state has codified that or they support that, you can do executive orders all day long. We're going to really see the power of states' rights, you guys, and which states are actually going to be willing to fight back and which ones are going to just like take it and allow this fascist federal government to take hold of them. What caused Republicans to win all three if the last four was so good? Why did America make such a strong statement? That is the statement. It's because people aren't interested in the election and the country is like generally right wing. There are states that people will vote right wing no matter what. You know what I mean? So like there are like the onus is on a lot of people that are left leaning to convince others to not vote right wing. That's like how it goes. It isn't the other way around. People are naturally right wing. Like in the United States, it's just like easier because of the propaganda and the level of media manipulation that's like taken hold of the country. And then plus like in places that like more away from the cities, like more rural areas. I mean, if you grow up in that, you're not even exposed to any left-wing ideas. You are not. It's impossible. So how do you even have the freedom to decide what you want to choose for your political beliefs if like you grow up in like an area that's just absolutely just nothing but right-wing conservatism, and that's it. And your whole social structure is built around this. Your whole like your family, your friends, your workplace, your social circle, everything you say, everything you interact with is right wing. And that is like the majority of the country in general. Obviously there's a lot of the cities are populated, and those are places that aren't as right wing in the bigger cities. So it really is just like up to, well, that's why people will say the media failed big time, because right wing media is just like completely taken over as the mainstream. It already kind of was. Most people watched right wing media to begin with, but I'm talking like all forms of news now is more consumed by people on the right, and they have like a whole apparatus built around it. And then they have podcasts that solidify what their Newsmax and OAN will say. So it's just like multiple layers of just like indoctrination that take place. So a lot of it is media manipulation. There was not one single truth that came out of the right wing for the past 4 years. And when you have 4 years straight of lies, that adds up. That seriously adds up and has a strong effect on someone's psyche. So, I mean, it was and Democrats, like I said, I'll be honest, after looking back on it, not holding a primary was an L. And also switching Biden out with 100 days for the election, also an L. 2 L's, fat L's. Democrats can't do that again. If they ever do, that's an L. Gonna lose no matter what, because I learned. I had no idea. I voted for Trump in 2016. I've been a Republican my whole life. I've engaged in more Republican politics than most Trump voters right now have. Okay. I don't know how left politics work actually. I'm so serious. I only know how right-wing world is because I grew up in that, and that's all I supported until 2020. And then I went third party, and 2024 was my first time ever voting Democrat ever in my whole life. Never have done it. Never. So lessons learned then. Okay. That's not something that I should have seen that clear, because that was a big problem without having a primary, and too little too late. And Kamala Harris was not enough to convince people, because a lot of people stayed home. 90 million Americans that could have voted stayed home. And yeah, that's excuses. You can call it excuses. I call it just the truth. That's just what it is. It didn't motivate enough people to get out there and vote. And when the country's already just kind of like inherently right wing and conservative, when you don't do enough, that's what's gonna happen. So, and especially when Trump only got 49% of the vote, like that, he didn't even get 50% of the voting populace. Also, it undoes the complete right-wing propaganda about this so-called half the country that votes. when they didn't even have that at all. It's like a third. It's like a fraction of the country. But again, the social structures about people that don't vote is like inherently right wing outside of the cities. So the people that aren't voting, they're already conservative brained. Like they're already like, they would support Trump if they like could, if they wanted to go vote that day. That's the majority of what I heard. Like, I would vote for Trump, but I'm not going to vote. I'm going to stay home today, basically. So another thing he did is a mandate. Like he was able to win the Senate and the House, but that could be flipped. What, they control it until what, next year? Okay. And then the Democrats will take it. Then what? But then is the analysis going to change from MAGA to where Trump failed and lost his mandate to Democrats? Or are you guys going to say Democrats cheated and stole Trump's mandate away from him? That's what it'll be. Clip this now. When the Democrats obviously are going to be gaining steam, and if it isn't Democrats, I'll be honest and say it isn't. Now, if there's like an independent party here that comes up out of nowhere, because it's not going to be libertarians, you're cooked. It's not going to be Green Party, super cooked. No one else. So if it's not Democrats, if there's a serious independent party that has backing, and it's like, oh, okay, then that's who we go with. But right now, it's like Democrats. Oh damn! Now I lost my train of thought. Lost my train of thought with that. Damn it. Shoot, Bernie, too old. Damn it, lost my train of thought now. Bring me back. Come, help me out. Where was I? What was my last point? Impeach, convict, imprison. Trump will not go peacefully. God dang it. I was going. I lost it there. What was I talking about? I'm trying to get my point back. Whatever. I'll have more points to make. I will have more points to make. Breathe? What do you mean? I am breathing. They will lie when Democrats... Oh, thank you. So when Democrats inevitably take back the power in the government, and again, okay, that's why I got lost. If it's a different something, then it's a different something. But I don't see that happening. So if the Democrats take power back in the House and flip the seats next year at the midterms, they're going to cry that this is an insurrection against Trump's mandate. Clip this. Now clip it, because I didn't know. I forgot my train of thought, but now you can. They will claim that this is a Democrat coup against Trump's mandate when the Democrats have some strong steam, or whoever. I'm thinking it's going to be Democrats. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the left-wing politicians are already picking up steam right now, and the interest in Trump's approval rate is plummeting. So just like what happened in 2018, despite inheriting Obama's economy and riding that and having a strong economy in 2016, 2017, they still lost the House in 2018 because he sucks. Because Donald Trump and Republicans suck at governing. They're good at like siphoning the government's money into billionaires, and that's it. They siphon the money of the government, cut programs, and funnel your taxes into the ultra rich billionaires, the ultra ones like Elon Musk, who is the richest man in the world. So they will cry and complain next year that this is an insurrection or a coup on Trump's mandate, and that'll be the cope. And it won't be that. So because you have this analysis about Democrats, and that's fine. I can be good faith with that, but you won't have the same interest next year when Trump is about to lose, or MAGA is about to lose the House or the Senate or whatever. Probably the House, not the Senate. The Senate's harder to flip than the House. The House is easier to flip. You're going to have far different analysis because you people are hypocritical, fucking brain dead, monkey cymbal clapping subtards. Okay? That's why. There's no other analysis I need to provide. They're going to flip their brain. They're going to flip and be hypocrites, and that's what's going to happen. I can Eminem this now. I can predict exactly what's going to happen. You know why? Because that's exactly what they do. They will pretend like all of what they're saying now. Oh, it's a mandate. It's a mandate. Democrats should have done this, and they would have won if Democrats didn't do this. If Democrats didn't do that. If Democrats, and this is from everybody. It's the Democrats' fault for everything, basically. Whatever. If Trump loses, then the House flips. Is that Trump's fault? Is that going to be a bad on MAGA? Obviously for me it would be. It's a testament to how bad Republican governance is. And again, this happened in 2018. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to have to report it doesn't next year. I'm still going to be here. If I'm wrong and the Democrats just fall flat on their face and don't have anybody and it's looking bleak, I'll be honest about it this time because I learned my lesson from last year. I promise you I did. If it's looking like shit, I'm going to say it's looking like shit. But I know there's cause to be hopeful right now, at least because of Trump and his actions. It's kind of like, it sounds weird. It's like, damn, I'm scared, nervous about Trump and his actions. But like, you got to realize there were only 2 million more people that voted for Trump. That's what's so funny about it. And that's what caused and the amount of work that was done too by MAGA at the local and state level too. There wasn't a whole lot of interaction unless you're in a blue state. But Democrats seem to be more active in red states too, and work in local and state elections more, like the Republicans do. They're in that shit. They're in the school board. They're in the city council. They're like all over it. Why do you think like libs of TikTok puts on city council videos from whatever random city they choose that day? They're all up in that. No one on the left is in on. We have nobody making content like clipping, right? Because some of the right-wing content from local and state, you think the federal ones are bad? You think the federal clips of like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying crazy things? Boy, you should hear some of the state level Republicans. You should hear what they're talking about. We have psychos in Minnesota, like right-wing ones. They had one that was like trying to, oh my God. I think we had like a PDF file where he was like trying to advocate for like CP basically being legal in Minnesota. They're so cooked. Like it's worse almost. I don't know how you could say that, but like the Republicans on the state and local levels have more power in a sense than like Marjorie Taylor Greene does. And yeah, she's like talking about space lasers and all types of shit, but like you should hear what these local and state Republicans are saying, dude. And if anything, maybe the left should adopt that and start clipping them and blasting them like libs of TikTok does. Libs of TikTok will target whatever the hell they want. Not even on TikTok. They start playing what the hell these Republicans are saying in some state Senate offices or House Senate or in the House in some states. It is insane. Let's go back here. You guys have been posting some clips on the Discord here too. So much corruption at the state level. Yeah, and I mean, it's states. America first, for sure. I've noticed like America first just means like America last. Actually, like a foreign interest in billionaires first. That's what America first means to right wingers. So, okay, here's Secretary of Defense Hegseth from an hour ago answering questions on Gaza.
Mr. Secretary, Mr. about American involvement in Gaza, considering your...
This guy, he knows this guy's a clown. This is Admiral. Oh God, we've heard him. He was wasn't he in the? He was part of the contact group.
And worldview.
I would just say to the question of Gaza, the definition of insanity is attempting to do the same thing over and over and over again. And as the President and Prime Minister pointed out last night, the President is willing to think outside the box, look for new and unique dynamic ways to solve problems that have felt like they're intractable. So we look forward to more conversations about that, creative solutions to that. And as the man tasked with leading the Defense Department here, we're prepared to look at all options as we've said.
Mr. Secretary.
You ever notice they don't ever say anything of substance? It's like they just fall back onto this is what Trump's mandate is. And the very thing that Trump mandated, me, the Secretary of Defense, will be the one to handle this. Next question. It's just like nothing, dude.
Mr. Secretary, do you have a plan to send troops to Gaza?
Are you working on options for the president right now that would involve U.S. troops in Gaza?
The president is involved in very complex and high-level negotiations of great consequence to both the United States and the State of Israel, and we look forward to working with our allies, our counterparts, both diplomatically and militarily, to look at all options. But we certainly would not get ahead of the president or provide any details about what we may or may not do. That's just bad military.
Bunch of nothing. That was a bunch of nothing right there. I don't know what questions were answered. 9/11. 9/11 was bad. We got here Donald Trump and unelected billionaire Elon Musk. What do we got here? Who said? Oh, and sorry.
This is an unprecedented moment in our nation's history. Donald Trump and an unelected billionaire, Elon Musk, are illegally dismantling our government.
I'll pull it up, Marshall.
By agency, and illegally stealing your data, your money, and your services. I would love for Mr. Musk to come here and testify before this committee so we can understand his qualifications to do this, because last I checked, running a social media platform does not qualify you for understanding how the U.S. government works and making sure that it can operate and serve the American people.
So Congress is back in session. This is just going to be a random collection of clips from the day. So because I can't put this, it's so chaotic. I can't I don't have the time to put it in categories and go from segment to segment to segment with this. So we're going to be bouncing around. Waters, Jessica, they bailed out Politico because their clicks went down, like the condoms.
So the way that this story was told was that USAID spent $8 million on Politico Pro, but they just said Politico. So that could just be the website that we all go on every day to see, you know, what they think about this morning's coffee clatch at the bottom of the hill, which is what it is.
Don't forget to tell you.
I do like that. I made it into that once, I think. But that's not true at all. So it's $8 million across the entire federal government. I think USAID, it was 44,000 that actually went to them. You know that
Still, $44,000 is like nothing in the United States. I'm sorry, it's nothing at all. But do you know how Republicans do it? Is that's a lot of money to the working class. It just sounds like a lot of money. On the state level, though, that is peanuts. That is nothing. But Republicans will convince regular conservative working class that this is your money and that the Democrats are sending your money all over the place.
people are using this to do their work, not just to find out where they can get a good reservation with whatever lobbyist wants. They have a very, I get it, expensive by standard terms, but if you have any of these tools, you know how much they cost. Like a tool like an MRI Simmons that looks at, why are you making a face like that?
Because this has been around since 2010, and all of a sudden when Biden gets in there, they just start, everybody gets a subscription.
$8 million.
This was a bailout, Jessica. They bailed out Politico because their clicks went down when Biden became president.
Because they're, oh, I can't even watch that. I can't even watch that garbage. Like the five. Okay, so this show is very similar to like the Russian state media show. Like, I don't know the two hosts' names, but they have like a circle. Okay, this is the five on Fox, but on Russian state media, they will have like one or two dissenting voices that are like Russian liberals, which whatever that means, right? But they'll have people that will like speak against the war in a way that keeps them alive, but they can do it, and it's just for show. It's just for show. It's like one or two dissenting voices, and then the other four will like gang up on them, and then MAGA can feel better about themselves because the one liberal here gets owned. Hell yeah, there's more of us than them. Psychological. That garbage shit. It's entertainment. Now, literally on the way to the floor to vote tonight, I received a text from a federal employee that said simply, "Help us." Who exactly is the Musk-Trump-Vance administration terrorizing? The people who make sure your food is safe to eat, your water is clean to drink, and the air is safe to breathe.
Today to speak out on behalf of our beleaguered federal workforce, which is currently under attack by the Musk-Trump-Vance administration. Trump's OMB nominee, Russell Vought, said, quote, We want the bureaucrats to be traumatic.
Like Whoopi and Joy Behar. Yeah, you know what? Real people, like I'm sorry, people that are actually consuming serious political content aren't watching The View. You guys are so indoctrinated. You have CNN and The View as like regular talking points. Oh yeah? Well, at least it's not CNN. At least it's not The View. You know why? Do you know why MAGAs, Republicans, and just trolls pick The View? Because Fox News picks it to shit on all the time. So therefore, MAGA Republicans think The View is like a mainstream political platform for the left. It's like everything that Republicans think about Democrats and the left are told to them by Fox News. Think about that. That's why people that are left understand this. Everything that the right wing knows about the left wing comes from Fox News, Newsmax, OAN, Joe Rogan, etc. That is where they like learn about the left. So when you know that Fox News lies about like everything and pays nearly $1 billion for lies, how do you think they're indoctrinating right wingers about people that are left wing and why they are just impossible?
Dramatically affected. When they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work because they are increasingly viewed as the villains. We want to put them in trauma. Well, Mr. Speaker, they're in trauma. Literally on my way to the floor to vote tonight, I received a text from a federal employee that said simply, "Help us!" exclamation point.
Actually, you know what's funny is my mom, who is conservative, used to watch The View until Fox News started attacking it. Like it's a show for like women that are a little older, and conservatives used to watch it, and again until Fox News shit on it because Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar are a little bit more left wing, and they say like fuck Trump basically, and like they can't handle that. You can't handle that. You can't have anybody hating on my Trump, my king. Joy Behar, she is the Democrats. CNN. That's why you hear these people in like comment sections on social media will say, where do you get your information from? CNN. You're a CNN viewer, which is so ironic because CNN was literally bought out by a MAGA, and they like have to have a MAGA Trumper on every single show now because their ratings went down because of Trump attacking them, calling them fake news, and they capitulated. And now they have dog shit segments and nobody watches them now. Now they like lost even more viewers because they put Trumpers on there to make Trump happy and Republicans happy. It's so funny. It's just like their whole world is curated for them from right-wing society.
Who exactly is the Musk-Trump-Vance administration terrorizing? The people who make sure your food is safe to eat, your water is clean to drink, and the air is clean to breathe. The people who work tirelessly to keep pregnant women, asthmatic children, and people with cancer from dying. The people who make sure you fly safely. The people protecting American lives here and around the globe through diplomacy, intelligence gathering, and fighting crime. To the federal workforce, I see you. I'm doing everything I can to help you. I won't quit. Please don't quit either. Thank you, and I yield back.
So those are some statements from McClellan. You guys posted some stuff on Discord. LA stands up. Here's in Michigan.
These are polarizing moves, drawing support from some.
Someone in chat asked if Dearborn was protesting. This is Lansing.
Prompting pushback from others. Today, protesters rallied at the state capitals from coast to coast, expressing their outrage with President Trump. This includes a rally right here in Michigan. Chopper 7 was overhead as crowds rallied outside the state capitol building in Lansing, raising their voices. 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham was on the ground, hearing from protesters about their frustrations with the current administration and supporters who are defending President Trump.
As you can see here behind me, easily 1,000 people have gathered here outside of the state capitol. They're chanting all sorts of things, including "Stand up, we won't go back, one people, one voice," all in opposition to actions taken by President Donald Trump. Yeah, this came from one.
No, this is in Michigan. I live in Minnesota.
Comment online inspired a whole lot of us to get involved, and I've just been focusing on making sure it goes safe and sends the right message over the last 2 days. Organizer Sam Nelson says he saw a post on Reddit that led to this massive protest. Lansing's rally outside the Michigan state capitol, one of 50 across the country. Crowds made up of people concerned about President Trump's policies and executive actions, either enforced or considered since he took office. People like Dennis Kellogg, a soybean farmer from Gratiot County.
It's really good to see Queso getting involved in American politics. Really proud of him.
We don't want tariffs. I mean, the farmers, we don't want handouts from the government. We want open and free markets. This guy is trying to shut down those markets. We're still recovering from the last time that he imposed those tariffs.
The issues each protest leans towards varies greatly.
He's attacked the poor. He's attacked the immigrants. He's attacked, the marginalized community in this country.
For a differing viewpoint, I reached out to the Michigan House Republicans.
These people are out of touch. I mean, Donald Trump won for a reason. He won overwhelmingly with the electorate.
Hey, bada bing, forget about it. Looking
college vote.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy, these people don't know what they're doing out here.
The popular vote handily, and I'm seeing signs out here to allow for illegal immigration. I'm seeing signs for,
there not one sign was like illegal, like they were talking about we support immigrants.
A lot of people apparently out here hate Elon Musk. Guy's working for basically for free to try and clean up.
Elon is working for free. Every time he says that, he loses another strand of hair on the top of his head. Every time somebody says Elon is working for free, like, what the fuck? So that's what I'm saying, guys. This is a state politician in Michigan. Okay? Understand this. Like, it's bad on like Marjorie and Boebert. Like, they suck. But it's far worse when you go lower and you actually start like paying attention to Republicans and not just the federal ones. Do you know why the right wing had a good solid through and through with their media? Because they shit on all Democrats, not just the federal ones. They have a whole ecosystem around it.
The federal budget, which everybody knows,
bada bing.
There is a lot of waste.
Elon's working for free, and yep, for sure, bud, 100%.
Which everybody knows there is a lot of waste.
This gentleman tells me he's an independent. While he showed up with a sign that reads "Support Trump," he says he doesn't agree with all of the president's policies, but he's open to dialogue with others.
This is very also intimidating, but this is what America stands for. The freedom of assembly. This needs to be allowed, but in this country, we need to have some serious dialogue, I believe.
Oh, it was cold out. I mean, it was cold in Michigan too. It was cold outside today. I'm talking so cold, you're in slow motion. Slow motion cold. LA stands up. Elon Musk's Gizmodo. I already played Trump signing the executive order. It's weird. I think he even was like, gather around me. Come in closer. Yeah, here you go. You know what he's trying to do here? Whoever guesses what Trump is trying to mimic here, you get honorary mod of the day.
Everybody, if you'd like to gather around me, I think I'm going to be okay. Come on.
Donald Trump.
Thank you.
Who's Donald Trump trying to copy? Nothing he does is original. No, Epstein, good answer. But no. Yes, but no. Santa? No. No. No one's gonna get it. Okay, you go, just me. Oh, sorry, Dollar Straws guessed it first, just before you, just me. Just before you said it. So just Dollar Straws gets honorary mod of the day. Yep. I had to go on the first comment. Sorry. Yeah, a lot of you guys got it. Yeah. He's trying to copy Tim Walz. He's trying to be like, I can do Tim Walz. Because Tim Walz actually, like, when Timmy signed the Minnesota executive order for the free school lunches, the kids were like embracing him. And he's a teacher and he looks like happy to be around kids. Donald Trump is like, get your ass in here. I like the kids. Let's get a photo. It'll be good for ratings. It'll be good for the ratings. What else did I save here? Cenk Uygur's prediction about the MAGA base on Israel.
What are they going to collect? Well, Netanyahu loves starting wars, so he'll probably either he'll try to start a war with Iran and make us fight it or pay for it, or he'll try to annex the West Bank or northern Gaza. And both of those will create significant conflict. And then at that point, every corrupt son of a bitch in Washington will come and say, oh, it's our special ally, and we have a moral relationship with them, or blah, blah, blah. No, they all got paid. AIPAC was the #1 donor in this election cycle, hundreds of millions of dollars in bribes that we call campaign contributions. So when that happens, and Netanyahu comes calling and says to Trump, okay, now make these American sucker citizens pay for my wars, because we're a special ally. We have a Judeo-Christian heritage. I once talked to a rabbi. He's like, I don't remember that Judeo-Christian heritage about 80 years ago. They just made that shit up for political purposes. Anyway, so at that point, if Trump goes, yes, we're going to join the conflict on Israel's side, or we're going to pay for all of their wars, my prediction is that his right-wing base is going to go, not this time. We're sick of this shit. Okay, you keep telling me special ally. I don't know what the fuck that means. They have paid family leave in Israel. They have universal health care in Israel. And we're sending them our money, and we can't afford basic stuff here in America, so they could kill more Palestinians. No, not because the right wing cares about Palestinians or Muslims in general, right? Of course, some of them do, but that's not a driving force for them. They're going to just say, no, I don't want to give any more money. And at that point, is Trump going to go, I don't give a shit about you guys.
Not all of them. Like maybe a fraction of them. A fraction of them will be like that. And then there's also the anti-Semitism about it too. So they've just been anti-Israel no matter what. But a lot of other ones won't care. This is based. They will support this. They'll support that we're taking Gaza as our own now. They'll say nothing. They'll say, good, this is God intended. And we loved when Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem. I mean, why would they not like the fact that the Gaza Strip is gone now completely? Think they're gonna say anything or care? Half of, I mean, I don't know, half of like a section of them will, because again of the anti-Semitism. And they really actually truly are in on the America First isolationist thing. And obviously this is not America First or isolationist at all. This is like Israel first. Literally, like of all the issues we've handled, he's failed on everything so far. And the one issue that he's like trying to get pushed forward is not like for us. It's for Israel. Because that deal is nothing for Americans. It puts American troops in harm's way to go and demine and fight Hamas, basically, because there will be militants. It's not like, oh, here come the Marines, here come the Happy Marine Corps. Because here Palestinians, just, you know, just start moving. There is going to be opposition. There will be Hamas. There will be IEDs, and American soldiers will die for fucking nothing. For absolutely fucking nothing for Trump. You're going to die for Trump. That's what. You'll die to Hamas for Israel and Trump. But no wars, though. Remember that? No wars. No wars. Sure, this would never happen if Trump was president. There would be no wars. Trump takes office and literally wants to send American troops into multiple places directly, which they weren't for the past 4 years. Here's what she had to say on the takeover of Gaza.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
The definition of insanity is attempting to do the same thing over and over and over again.
You got it, Republicans? That's your narrative now. Okay, so that's what you say. Whenever a liberal or leftist says, this is bad, you say, what? What are the words? They're telling you what to say, Republicans. All right, here's the line.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
There you go. There's your cope. I did the homework for you. Now you don't have to do any work anymore. Just say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing. This is new. Trump doing something new and exciting. And I voted for this. There you go. I know what you're going to say. Just say that.
The definition of insanity is attempting to do the same thing over and over and over again. And as the president and prime minister pointed out last night,
as our defense secretary said famously today, Pete Hegseth, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
President Trump is an outside-of-the-box thinker and a visionary leader who solves problems that many others, especially in this city, claim are unsolvable.
The president is willing to think outside the box.
We might as well look at one of the world's longest problems and bring in a leader who thinks outside the box, who's crazy may just be crazy genius.
Outside the box. You get it? Did you hear the message? Did you get the programming? This is thinking outside the box. Okay, that's all you got to say now, Maga. That's your words. But you're independent thinkers, though, for sure. You guys are independent thinkers. Nobody tells you what to say and think. You just say what isn't said. I mean, I can see it now. I can't wait to look at my Facebook comments now. Trump is just thinking outside the box. I love it because I'll be on stream and I'll obviously review right-wing media. And then I go to my Facebook where none of them are watching my stream. They just troll me. And there they are saying the shit I watched on stream that right-wing media was saying. I'm an independent thinker. I think for myself. Nobody tells me what to think or how to act or what to say. Let's go back to Discord. What else? Was it just a lot of the protests stepping up? I went out there and covered them. What is this one here? They're independent thinkers like the battle droids in Star Wars. Yeah. Roger Dodger. Documents show USAID's Inspector General was investigating a public-private ownership involving Musk's company just before Musk shut the agency down. Oh, weird. Key USAID web pages mentioning Musk's company have suddenly vanished from Watergate to Elon Gate. Oh no. That's paywalled. I'm not like gonna pay for every news just to read it if it's not public yet. Preston says, serious question. This isn't meant to be a troll. Why are government websites being taken down and looked into? For example, it seems like leaving the USAID site up where anyone could go look at data would have been a great way to shine a light on anything. Exactly. Wow. Let's go, Preston. Go look for yourself. Here's a link. Would be ideal to drive, right? I don't think if you're like a MAGA, you'd be against that, right? All right, MAGA, I got you. How about instead of like terminating it? Because then how are you going to know if where the fraud was? Oh, you're trusting Elon only? Wouldn't you rather have it be open source on the chain, on the blockchain, as you guys say now? So that way, like, we could see the fraud. Wouldn't you rather like have it just be a transparent thing and they like gave us a link and then we could see spending expenditures? Would you rather have that? Or do you like Elon's trust me, bro? I'm taking it down and trust me. But again, a lot of MAGAs do. They will blindly trust. And that's a test on you. Are you blindly trusting Elon to litigate the American government on his own? And if you do, like, why? Especially when he's going to just further his own goals the whole time. All he does is buy up things. He doesn't invent anything. He's not a genius. He's a ketamine addicted billionaire who is the richest man in the whole world. You don't get there by hard work and picking yourself up by your bootstraps. You get there by maybe being awake for a lot of hours. So you got to be on ketamine or whatever to keep yourself awake for many hours. But that's not, you're just screwing people left and right or buying them out to get to the level that Elon is at right now. Nobody can defend USAID with a straight face. Everybody can. USAID is responsible for helping build Ukrainian churches and historical sites that have been bombed out by Russian cab missiles. Keep chopping. And it embarrasses me that you are a fan of the Big Ten because I am a fan of the Big Ten and we share the same football conference in the NCAA. And it pains me that you have this low level thinking, being in the same fandom as me for college football. That really that makes me upset. I have to be in the same. I'm now a fan of the SEC. I'm breaking from the Big Ten due to Keep Chopping because he said that nobody can say with a straight face what USAID like supports. And that's embarrassing. From AI generated fakes to loud leaders, lies are everywhere, but we can outsmart them. Watch the latest message from Adam Kinzinger to learn how we can spot lies and stand for truth. Okay.
At Country First, we aim for honest conversation, where ideas are judged on their merit rather than partisan allegiance or volume. If we want to be a country shaped by rational dialogue, then we must be quick to shut down disinformation. But
this is AI generated.
Was generated with AI. Could you?
Yeah, I knew right away. I thought I was being, yes, I could tell that was AI generation. Who could tell this was AI generated right away? Could you tell? Be honest. This opening part was super AI generated. I saw the susness right away. His whole face was moving weird and shit. Okay, why do it then? Or why play AI generated video?
Hey, this is the real Adam. Everything you just saw and heard was generated with AI. Could you tell?
Yes.
With evolving technology and an exponential increase in information, it's getting easier than ever to create and spread convincing lies.
Guys, you know why? That's why I play video games. Love it. Because you know why? The graphical fidelity in video games right now are pretty uncanny. Pretty uncanny. And it helps you notice like because you can have a photorealistic person in a video game that like has real facial, but like there's still always something off with it, and that alone has helped me identify AI generated content like pretty quickly. Like it doesn't take me too long to like recognize this is off. Is this AI? But the only way to create a better future as a country is to embrace reality today. This work demands that each one of us be active and vigilant members in standing for truth. Rejecting disinformation starts with all that's AI generated. Approaching lies from an educated and grounded point of view. Oh, so they're teaching you how to identify AI generated content easier. Whether it be from what we see online to what we hear some of our country's leaders say, we have to choose reason over volume. That's AI. That's AI generated too. Volume. For instance, that's fake. When a leader says that they're going to end the war in Ukraine, take over the Panama Canal, or even acquire Greenland, we can call that what it is. That's disinformation. Play it again. You couldn't tell right away. Okay, one more time. So the beginning part is AI generated Adam Kinzinger. At Country First, we aim. Okay, I could tell right there. There was a glitch. There was a glitch in his face. At Country First, like his neck just glitched and like his cheeks just glitched, and I saw that in 1 second. First, we aim for honest conversation. Okay, the way his mouth just moved, it just went like down and up to his face. Where ideas are judged on their merit rather than partisan allegiance. And why does he sound like he's just had 18 beers? Right? It's like his voice isn't the same as like when he's speaking normally. Volume. If we want to be a country shaped by the way his eyes are moving are not normal, in contrast to like why he's like swallowing and blinking at the same time. Damn, that was tough. I don't know how who swallows and blinks at the same time unless you're like nervous. That's tough to do. But so the AI generation just did that for him. You know what I mean? I can just like tell that this is not normal information. But first we have to spot the lies. Yeah. And his voice sounds like Microsoft Sam, but like Adam Kinzinger filter. We can call that what it is. Anyways, now back to real Adam Kinzinger. Yes, that's disinformation.
You're talking about Panama and Greenland. We need them for economic security. No, because they should be the 51st state, really. It would make a great state, and the people of Canada like it.
And when it comes to AI, there's some things that are dead giveaways that we should be vigilant for. A shaky camera, poor lip dub, repeating scenes, visuals with sharp contrast, or audio that doesn't quite match the speaker's natural inflection.
Oh, that's right, dude. This is probably going to affect people that aren't so internet savvy as much. Older generations.
Yes, press the switch twice time.
Sorry, it was 9.
Oh, shucks.
These are just some of the signs that expose lies. Despite the dominance of extreme voices, we aim to address our country's most pressing challenges by presenting a vision to a better America by speaking truth to power. And this work starts with standing for truth. I hope you'll stand together with us and join us today.
It's no surprise that the people that were so afraid of AI taking over the world and shit are using it for their own. What did John Sweeney do? This is Donald Trump and John Sweeney back in 2012. What the hell? He wore Donald Trump's Look at John Sweeney, orange hats in the chat. Damn, dude, what a tank. 2012 Trump. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, Mitch McConnell took a tumble today. How do you fall upstairs? Okay. Republicans have been ordered by their billionaire puppet master to end Medicare as we know it. This is Hakeem Jeffries put this out 4 hours ago. Democrats have 215 members in the House who can stop this extreme effort. All we need is 3 House Republicans to join us. We'll see. We'll see how the culting of the Republican Party and who's like going to uphold the Constitution in America while being Republican still, and who's gonna bend the knee and be a MAGA cultist, which most of them are. Well, we'll see. Democrats have to be unanimous every time, though. They can't play games at all. That's going to be tough. They got to be tight. They got to be locked in over there. And they got to see who in the Republicans are, because the Republican Party will just say, this person's a rhino. They're not even supportive of Trump. They're like a leftist. Oh boy. Kaylee, the lesson is maybe Trump is not trying to take Gaza. Maybe this is a grand part of a negotiation to get Iran to come to the table. For what? To take Gaza? President Trump is playing 4-dimensional chess. You are all playing. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Trump is playing 4D chess. Nobody knows what's going on. He's just a genius.
Well, the media didn't listen to that.
Holy.
In the room, Caitlin Collins, others. Because I watched the channels last night, and it was absolute pandemonium. I mean, the freak out was only second to June 27th, the day that Joe Biden had that disastrous debate. And when you look at it, I just thought to myself,
we're comparing the reaction to we're comparing the reaction of like the general public to Donald Trump saying the US is actually just going to take Gaza and directly ethnically cleanse the Palestinians for Israel. And they're saying that reaction was same as like when Biden lost the debate. Do you see how they keep their audience like culted, you guys? Do you see how they don't allow for their audience to have independent thought that might be against this? Because then they're like, oh, well, yeah, it's the same as those. Oh, it's just liberal meltdown again. They're just crying still. It's just like when Biden lost the debate. They fall back onto dumb Republican only like lore talking points. Like you're fucking nerds. You know what I mean? When you're talking to like a group or like a fandom of something, and then you're like trying to have like a serious debate about this thing, and they just like fall back onto just like inside jokes or like things that will just work for them only. Because that debate, like no one gives a fuck about Biden's performance in the debate by now. That event came and went. That event came and went. Done. Trump is the president, and they still have to go back to it because they can't allow their audience to have a thought about Trump's actions with Gaza.
they haven't learned the lesson yet. And the lesson is this: maybe Trump is not trying to take Gaza. Maybe this is a grand part of a negotiation to get.
So they've been wrong about Trump and Gaza the whole time. Even the Republicans have. They were like, this is going to be good. And oh, Trump is a peacemaker and he did the deal, not Biden. That was remember that? Remember the ceasefire deal? And the Maga and Republicans were like, wow, look, Trump can end all wars. Trump ended all the wars. These would have never happened if Trump was in power. Trump gets up there. So today we're announcing that we're just going to take Gaza militarily. And then MAGA is just like, okay, yeah, we'll do that then. Yeah, we'll do that. I have one of those too. Ukrainian sniper gave it to me. I didn't ask him how he got it. I just kind of figured, you know. What else is any other protests happening? Because every time I switch over to gaming, the protests in LA start or something, and I'm like, I'm not tuning out of gaming by then. I went out there today. It was cold. The protest was good. There were other protests that took place today. Wasn't there a DC protest? Oh, Anarchy Princess shared some of that, I think, on her Twitter. Even Republicans are blindsided by that. Some, yeah, they'll get, so with them, they'll get blindsided by it, but then just like say, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, definitely will blindside them and go like at them, but then, oh, well, I'm not going to speak out against this. I don't want to be a rhino. I don't want to be uninvited from social gatherings. I don't want my softball community to think I'm a leftist now. Okay, I guess that's what we're doing then. That's what Trump has a mandate. It's in his hands. It's in Trump's hands. So it's like the level of thinking, you're already thinking more than they are. Brandon has been removed from the protest. Oh, what happened? Amanda was posting. Recently pardoned J6er Brandon Fellows has disrupted the rally at the Department of Labor. Oh, so there was a Department of Labor protest in DC today? Oops. And that's all I noticed too, that right wingers will do to when they come and counter protest like anything. They come there with their he has the dark gothic MAGA thing, so he's probably a crypto he's in the crypto Nazi thing now. But all they do is show up and just go Trump, 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 Trump. And then when like they draw attention to themselves, they go, hey, can't a guy have some free speech? Hey, can I get no respect around here? What did you guys attacking me for my opinion? They turn it into a free speech debate. Well then their politicians and the people that have power are saying that this event couldn't even happen because this is like Democrat led. It's like my comment section whenever like I make a post on Facebook about something serious, and then Trump supporters just come in with like Trump memes and just show us like their favorite photos of Trump and like how much like it makes them happy. So that guy was a J6er. Brandon has been removed from the protest. Oh, let's go, Brandon. Oh God, there are different sectors of MAGA now. I've already explained this. The Civil War that happened over like Christmas with them was not like fake. Yeah, they're rifted, but we have to see like the true effects of it here. Yeah, Brandon Fellows. Maha.
I think you do. You're like an incel. Never been laid, right? Not really.
At least I'm a male. Incredible work. Definitely an incel. Never been with a woman before.
Right, I am legally a female. You know what's cool about that? Free business rates. DC for females. Where's the guy? I am a female. Okay, I'm getting lunch. That's fine.
Oh, so when he's all by himself, he obeys the DC police. When he's out there with 9,000 other domestic terrorists, it's, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll move out of the way. I spent inauguration evening in the freezing cold with Brandon and other J6ers in front of the DC jail as everyone waited for Trump to issue pardons. Here's another video of that Brandon Fellows, January 6th terrorist. Pull that same shit now that you did on January 6th. Former U.S. Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn responds to Brandon Fellows outside the U.S. Capitol. Fellows, convicted of felony for involvement in the Capitol attack, was heckling Dunn after press conference condemning Trump supporters.
I'm very angry. You're damn right I'm upset. Yeah, well, you know what? You know what? Control your emotions. I'm glad you're recording. Ready, hold on. Let's take a breath. No, you're
Let's take a breath. Oh, boy's nervous.
More tough now that you not got 10,000 of your thugs are out here with you.
Exactly. Yeah, not so tough when they're by themselves, are they?
A lot more tougher now. Pull that same shit that you did on January 6th. Pull that shit now. I will. Pull it now. Do I have permission to go in again? What you did to get in? What you do to get in? Asked an officer if I would get arrested, and they said no. I had a blast. Took some epic selfies. Get that on camera. All right. Well, hey, I tell you what. You want to reach out to me on?
You know how pathetic they sound when they're all by themselves? It's when they have a mob and they can like storm a Capitol building is when they're most effective. When they're all by themselves and they're like, especially in debates, when you get them all alone, you can't. They little like look like little weak incel, mentally unstable individuals that they are.
Next, I'll share the video with you. Very kind Capitol officer gave me further directions to the statue. Yeah. All right, enjoy lying about yourself. Probably lose some weight too.
You know you're a loser, right? You know that, right?
Thank you. Well, stay mad. Thank you for your taxpayer money too. I appreciate it. You're a loser. Reparations. Thank you. You're a loser. All right, bye. I'm very angry.
Just a little baby. Thanks for your taxpayer money. Hey, Maga, you'll like that though. You love that guy out there who is arrested because he was arrested for things you like. Yeah, thank you for your taxpayer money. You know you're a weirdo, right? You know you're a loser. That's what you need to tell them. Like ignore them. Literally do that. Starve them for attention, and then give like 5 seconds of like dead air and say, you know you're a loser, right? And that's it. Don't like engage seriously. Don't go to ChatGPT and look up how to debate this person. Don't look up what do I got to say in response to this one? I got to give them a good one. Just say, okay, loser. Okay, weirdo. And that's it. Don't engage with them. Oh, meanwhile, a politician that actually knows how to engage with children. We're focused on feeding our kids, investing in our schools, making sure childcare is affordable. Regardless of the chaos unfolding in Washington, we're making Minnesota the best state for kids to grow up.
All right, do this. And then what? Take it out. Okay, here we go. Here we go. What is it? You go with Play-Doh? Hi.
You can't help but be optimistic to go into a classroom like that and see where our future is. And I think Minnesotans have always understood that's where our common interest lies, in making sure that our little ones are safe, they have housing, they have food, they have a good education, and that is why Minnesota continues to excel on so many fronts. We're not focused on fighting trade wars with our neighbors, we're not focusing on chaos, we're focusing on lifting people up and doing the right thing. And it's not all that difficult. And you're seeing it in that classroom, you're seeing it in McDonough, and you're seeing it in over 450,000 children, that was money for books, that was money for a new pair of boots, that was money for food, that was money to make sure the folks could keep the heat on in the house for the child. Those things are really, really important.
All right, do this.
Could have had Tim Walz, but we got couch fucker JD Vance. Oh my god. But like to MAGA, this is weird to MAGA because they don't know how to interact with children, and the only like child-based content they watch is like illegal, or that they think they engage with. So that's their worldview on everything engaging with children. So like when they see a politician like Tim Walz, who's a teacher, who has kids, is a father, and knows like how to interact with kids normally, they think this is weird. They think this is weird. But Donald Trump, like, get over here, stand next to me, smile, like that's normal. Kids love him for sure. That's definitely normal. What else today? What is this? A coup? Jamie Raskin issues takedown of Elon.
I'm joined now by Congressman
Brian Tyler Cohen's been doing a great job.
Jamie Raskin. Congressman, thank you for joining me.
You bet. I'm delighted to be with you, Brian.
All right, so we are in a constitutional crisis right now where the executive branch, led by the unelected richest man in the world, is basically usurping all power in government and unilaterally accessing sensitive information, has access to the Treasury. He's shutting down agencies, deciding where congressionally allocated funding can go and whether it can go. So I want to start off by channeling the voices of millions of people out there who want to know really what the hell is going on right now and what Democrats are doing to push back against this.
Well, thank you, Brian, for putting the question so clearly. I do believe that as despondent as it is, we need to be very clear about what's going on. And I think the easiest way to wrap your head around it is that this is a coup, which is a seizure of state power by unelected actors by taking control over the central institutions and functions of government. So Elon Musk has essentially seized control over the financial payment systems of the U.S. government, much of the communications systems of the United States, the data infrastructure, and of course, he's got his claws also into the military.
And if you're like, well, how can MAGA be okay with this? How can MAGA be okay with all this? Because they believe that he's cutting Democrat spending. I believe that he is getting rid of all the waste, all the waste. They're finally doing it. I know Trump talked about draining the swamp in his first presidency. Now they're doing it for real, and Elon's doing it, and I trust them.
Infrastructure as well. So, in addition to everything that Donald Trump is doing to dismantle every part of government that doesn't profit him personally and his friends personally, we have this additional problem of Elon Musk essentially trying to consolidate state power under him and transform the nature of our constitutional order.
So as it relates to Elon, I know that the answer is that he can't do the things that he's doing, but the reality is, the practical reality is that he is doing them. So given that we're beyond the point where he and Trump are respecting the law, what is our recourse then here?
Well, we're going to have to fight them in every channel and social context and governmental arena that we can. We're going to fight them in subcommittees and in the committees of the House and of the Senate. We're going to fight them in court. There have already been several setbacks dealt to the administration in court. As you know, Donald Trump tried to impose a new birthright citizenship rule, basically taking millions of people who are United States citizens in the country and then making them into undocumented immigrants.
But I guess, Chad, that's why it's important to continue to focus on state and local, because they know that it's going to get shot down in the courts, but the fact that they're putting it out there, and then what they do is, and then they try to change the court system and try to get conservative judges that will actually go through with this next time. That's the right wing. They are on the offensive all the time. And I've noticed that people on the left, they play games with like not winning. That's what I continue to say. Democrats or whoever, it seems to be the Democratic Party right now, need to win in order for policies and different politicians you want in there to hold power. That's what needs to happen. You have to win, because the Republicans are always on the offensive, always, never not on the offensive, especially politically. They are working at the state and local level, in courtrooms, everything, to install conservatives in those positions. So while good thing it got shot down right now, and the lawsuit worked for now to delay the birthright citizenship, that the fact that they're even putting it forward, the fact that they're even putting it out there, it shows you that, okay, well, it didn't work now, we'll fix that. Okay, well, they're doing it to see what the reaction will be. And then they can figure out, okay, well, this judge shot that down. Well, let's see what we can do with this judge. We'll see what types of deals we can make with this judge. And if we can't, we'll put a new judge in there. We'll put a new conservative judge in that federal position or whatever the fuck.
Based on who their parents were, that was shut down by a Reagan-appointed judge. They're appealing it.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Win. As you know, they froze federal spending at the end of last week and over the weekend, completely nullifying congressional power over appropriations. That's a central power of the legislative branch of government, the power of the purse. Again, a United States District Court judge in the District of Columbia shut that down and enjoined it. And there were oral arguments on that yesterday that went very well. for our side. So we're going to assert the Constitution, the rule of law, the civil.
Big Dog Mercado is losing his mind on reality. Bro is coping hard. I don't like Trump, but I'm still here. Mercado, I'm praying for you. Much love. No, I wholeheartedly reject that. Everything I'm saying is based on the reality I'm living in and where I've came from. If it sounds like I'm losing my mind to you, but then you're gonna give me some fake gaslit, like, oh, I'm still here for you. I hope you get better. What are you fucking talking about? Holy shit.
Civil service rules as a blockade against what they're doing at every turn, and public pressure, public.
You know, when I was a Trump supporter, I had no real pushback to that. I'd have people in my comment section saying cringe or whatever. Back in 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 time period, though. Then people weren't really saying cringe, but I would be openly right wing. I'm talking, I wore a MAGA hat to a family gathering. I never was told I'm losing my mind. I was never told I have mental issues. I was never told I'm having problems or any of this gaslighting bullshit about the state of my mental while being a Trumper. Never get that. That's what I'm saying. It's like normal. And then if you have left-wing ideas, or like you're a progressive, or you change your mind and you're like, yeah, right-wing isn't for me. They support the rich. They only care for the rich. I would much rather care for like the working class. That somehow means I have mental health problems. And that's what I've noticed too, like switching from pushing right-wing politics to left-wing politics. Because that's why I never get any pushback to my past about being a right-winger, because I would have been exposed by now. If I would have came out and said, hell yeah, I've been a leftist my whole life. I've been a Democrat my whole life. I'm talking everyone that knew me prior to 2020 were subjected to my Trump postings. And yeah, I lost some Facebook friends because they didn't like Trump, but most of them agreed. Most of them would be fine, or like they would scroll right past my Trump posts. Never did I ever get prescribed this mental health problem, or like as if I'm losing it. It's only given that to people that oppose Trump. You have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, or you have mental issues. Like, go fuck yourself.
Vigilance about what's happening are going to be essential in this process.
Congressman, among your Republican colleagues, is there any red line for them? I mean, to see an unelected bureaucrat basically on the pretense of trying to block other unelected bureaucrats, even though that's what he is at this point.
Why did I like Trump? Because I watched right-wing media and right-wing media only. And that has more of an impact than you think. People think they're independent thinkers. They're not. You're not. You are not. You take what you are told, and then maybe you try to dress it up and make it your own. But you are told information, and then that's what it is. So when you grow up in an echo chamber to begin with, and that's what I told you, nobody, when you're in right-wing conservative world, unless you are like just going against the grain and you're in a city and you like want to just be a right-winger in a big city. But if you grow up in the suburbs, or if you grow up in a rural area, your whole existence is right-wing. I didn't know anything else. And when you're exposed to some left-wing ideology, that's communism, that's socialism, that's evil. That's how it works. It's like right-wing world existence is like culted to begin with, and then there's like levels of it within there. MAGA is on the extreme end of this. Okay, they're on the very, very extreme end of this. So it's like years of indoctrination. All my family and friends are right-wing. Everyone I'm interacting with is right-wing. The ones that aren't, like, get called out for being left-wing. You think that doesn't happen, but it does. Like, people that are openly left-wing publicly in right-wing spaces get shit on to their face. And like the people that are left-wing and right-wing circles often don't even bring up politics because they already know how it's going to go. They already know that they're going to have all the Fox News talking points thrown at them at like rapid fire. I like an MG42 machine gun, belt fed, coming at them hot with talking points. So they don't even do it. That's why. Okay. It's because you grow up in it and you have there's what else is there, right? It's kind of like, it's like first principles type shit. And yeah, maybe like I could have utilized the internet better and like did more research, whatever. But the only places I knew to do research with was right-wing sources, because the other sources were mainstream media and bad. And I can't do that. I have to watch Tim Pool tell me. I got to watch Joe Rogan. I got to watch Ben Shapiro, because they're independent and they go against the grain. They aren't the mainstream. Fox News is somehow both the most watched cable news network in America while also not being mainstream. How does that make sense? Make sense of that.
To see him going in there and putting his claws into everything, getting access to sensitive information, putting high school graduates in charge of payment processing systems that include social security numbers. Is there any red line in public or private among your Republican colleagues?
Well, we'll see, Brian. I mean, we weren't in session last week and we weren't in session the last couple of days. I think that they sent us out of session early, actually, because there was such popular and political rejection of their mass pardons of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and the insurrectionists. They wanted to change the subject. That's what I think gave a lot of people the impression that our leadership wasn't doing anything and people were beating up on the Democrats. We weren't here. I mean, for someone like me whose district is right next door to Washington, it's easy enough for me to go down to USAID and to protest and to object. And we had a bunch of the Maryland and Virginia people there. But in any event, we have gotten our fight back. People are ready to fight this. Now, as for the Republicans, we don't know. There are one or two who have been uttering some of their reservations and their objections to what's going on, but I've been absolutely shocked and really devastated at the way that they've fallen into line for these completely corrupt and unqualified cabinet nominees that Trump has put through, including Kash Patel, an election denier, a J6 enthusiast and supporter.
As a FBI director.
An avatar of Maga lawlessness, who is just about to become the director of the FBI. I mean, it's...
I don't know who Frazzle Drip is. I don't know. I grew up with Fox News out in the house, so it was like I didn't have a choice, you know?
Just dumbfounding to me this is taking place. And Lincoln's party of liberty and union has become Trump's party of chaos.
It used to be, I'm going to be serious, like my conservative parents used to have NBC News on as a kid. Like they'd have Fox News on for daytime, and then at 5 o'clock, that's when the world news comes on, and they would have NBC, and we had Tom Brokaw on in the house, and then it was Brian Williams, and then guess what happened? I don't know, it was like mid 2000s. Fox News started attacking other media, and that's like when that era started. So then now they couldn't watch NBC anymore, so we stopped watching NBC, and then we would just watch Fox News for the world news when we were like growing up, and I was like preteen. So that was the only opportunity for other news was NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, and that was it. And then it went back to Fox News. But then again, by the end of the 2000s into the 2010s, it was like Fox News was just attacking everything, which Trump adopted, of course.
And dysfunction.
You know, you'd mentioned that there were all of one or two who have been, issuing some rumblings behind the scenes. What do you think that these same people, these Republicans, would say if George Soros all of a sudden was anointed some special government advisor and got access to every sensitive agency, every sensitive piece of information, all of Americans' private data, social security numbers? What do you think those same Republicans, all of whom are falling in line right now, would say about that?
Well, Brian, I used to perform that mental experiment all the time, including during the impeachment crisis, where I said, imagine if Bill Clinton or Barack Obama had incited a mob of tens of thousands of people to go and fight like hell. And if you don't...
We don't have to imagine it. Republicans are told this is happening already. That's why they excuse their actions, because right-wing media tells them that Democrats do this. That's what it is. Like, you're like, they have, yeah, for sure, they would be freaking out, but they do anyways. They would be. Yeah, but they do, even when it isn't happening. Joe Rogan or someone will tell them, or Steve Bannon will tell them that Biden did this, so Trump can do it too, or something. And then right wingers will go, oh, okay, true, based. Okay, now I don't care. Go Trump. Liberals do it too, or Democrats do it too.
You're not going to have a country anymore, and sat back and watched it eating hamburgers outside of the Oval Office and not saying anything other than my vice president didn't have the courage to do what needed to be done. And I would always flip it over and I would pose it to them. And then I realized that represents an obsolete mode of thinking, which is that the GOP members will act according to principles and to principled reasons. for action. They have dissolved.
The GOP does not have any principles anymore or morals. It's gone. They sold it out. And the ones that are left in there are just to blame. You know what's crazy is like Democrats take the blame for everything, but Republicans that literally let their party get taken over by MAGA get nothing. And then they just like get adopted basically to the left, basically, or whatever, or by default because they're kicked out of the right wing. And then all they do is just like fight against Democratic policies now. So it's like now you have an even bigger center that isn't worth anything much, like the center that actually is engaging in reality. But you have a ton of centrists out here that do the both sides thing for themselves, like Lex Friedman. But if anything, I found that like true centrists are literally just like Republicans with extra. They're just Republicans with extra steps
into complete tribalism. They believe, including the ones they stuck on.
And being centrist isn't all bad all the time. I'm talking when there's like a dead serious issue, and you want to both sides it. That is what I'm talking about.
Supreme Court, that Donald Trump can do no wrong, or as Trump, so vividly put it, I could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue, and I wouldn't lose their support. He was right about that.
For example, like centrists, somebody that will look at Russia's invasion of Ukraine, like Lex Friedman, and say both sides. The time in which you could use both sides in which it isn't bad is if there's a street fight, or if there's a bar fight and two drunk ass motherfuckers are out there fighting each other and they're causing the police to come and disrupting business. Okay. Both of you get the hell out of here. Both of you cut it out. Both of you leave, right? Because you got true drunk fucks fighting. Like, who cares what the issue is? You're drunk. You're at the bar. Whatever issue you have is not a big issue, and you're fighting outside the bar. Go somewhere else. Go get a ride. Go call your Uber and get the fuck out of here. Okay, that's a good both sides are bad, good faith argument.
He understood the cultish dimensions of their support. So I try to flip these over in the mental thought experiment that you propose, but it's meaningless to them. They don't understand it. For them, whatever Donald Trump does goes. They will defend it no matter what. And whatever he says about the foes or the enemies of Donald Trump, they will believe and they will follow that too.
Right, it's a complete moving target. Gone are the days where there's any long-standing principles that you can pin them to. At this point, to your exact point, it's just...
No, principles, policies, none of that. No, got to be defeated. There's nothing to, like, you can't guilt them. That's the thing. That's where we're getting at. So in essence, you cannot guilt MAGA into their actions. You can't say, wow, this happened. What are you're going to, like, yeah, they will. If they said that they didn't support it last week and Trump comes out and says, I'm doing it, they will flip, and then they will now support the thing because Donald Trump is their cult leader. There's no pushback to it. So don't like appeal to emotion. They don't have any unless it has to do with a Democrat. Then they got tons of feelings. Okay. But when it comes to like arguing with the MAGA, they're going to just go with the wind anyways. So don't waste your energy.
Complete deference to whatever Trump says and does, and if that changes by the week, the day, the hour, the minute, so be it. They're just along for the ride.
It's a completely humiliating thing to them. I mean, you have members over there like Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz, whom Trump has personally insulted. He's called their wives ugly. He said Ted Cruz's father assassinated.
Look what happened. I mean, look no further than Nikki Haley. And all the Republicans that were like, I'm going to support Nikki Haley or Nikki Haley herself. And then when she obviously had no chance in hell of winning, I'm going to stand by Trump now. I actually support Trump. Trump is going to lead us to a golden age. And all the not all of them, but a majority of Nikki Haley voters were like, okay, yeah, just kind of hanging out here anyways. Like, I wasn't really going to vote for her. I was just doing a thing. Let's go, Trump. Now I can finally be myself. That was fun. Wasn't that fun, guys? We got to pretend like we supported another candidate for a little while. Wasn't that fun? Let's go, MAGA. Try. I can dust off my 2020 sign now. They all did this. Or not all. Most of them did. I lost respect for so many of them too, because like, I'm like, okay, well, these ones might be different. They might not want Trump to be president. And then majority of them just capitulated. And we're like MAGA, basically. Oh, so you're just temporarily just exploring your political realm, huh? You wanted to test the waters. You're a Trump sexual, but you wanted to see what the other side or what other people had to offer, huh?
hated John F. Kennedy or
A little promiscuous, huh?
was in on the plot to do it. I mean, just outrageous things. And they all come and they kiss his ring, and that's not all. And so it's utterly abasing and humiliating and denigrating for them, but they do it. So
you can't even spell common sense. You literally can't. I won't be guilty for common sense. That's not how you spell sense. I won't be guilty for speaking common sense. Can't even spell what common. Oh my god.
In addition to being the party,
you get timed out for inability to spell basic words while I'm trying to make a point. 10 minutes. Come back after you figure out how to spell basic words.
Democracy and freedom now is the party of self-respect.
Yeah. You got into a public argument with Elon Musk over the last couple of days where, you were standing up along with some colleagues to protect USAID. Elon came out, he called it a coup because, of course, he's trying to draw some false equivalency between January 6th and rightfully standing up for an agency that Elon Musk has no power to dissolve. While you were standing up for USAID, Elon Musk wrote back, and I'll put the tweet right here on the screen. What Raskin actually means is that he wants his kickbacks and bribes to continue. So that was,
and that's a cope too. I'm noticing. So like when I speak out about the bad of USAID, Maga will say, well, that's because Mercado's getting paid by USAIDs or whatever, blah, 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 blah. They're impossible because they don't care, because they're going to steamroll what they want to do, which is fascism, far right, ultra capitalist, tax breaks for billionaires, nonsense. And they're going to fist it. So, and you, while you're arguing with them, don't give a fuck, really. They're bored anyway. They're bored schizophrenics. And now that they have power, now they're not victims anymore. Well, they still are. They're still victims. But now, like, they are going to show you just how much they don't care. Should have won. Should have won. Trump. Take that. Liberal. Trump won. Don't care. Trump. Don't care.
Obviously a defamatory statement by Elon.
So don't, like I said, don't appeal to their emotion. They don't have them. The only emotions they have is when, what's his name on whatever Fox News host will tell them to be mad, or some trans person was sponsored by a product, so they have to go buy that product and then shoot it with an assault rifle.
Because Elon and Trump and Republicans now clearly have their marching orders, and that is to destroy everything that really doesn't serve the ultra-wealthy, doesn't serve these Republican donors, and so they're on this scorched earth mission to just denigrate every agency that doesn't help them. First off, can you very briefly explain what USAID is and why it's important?
Sure. Well, it was created originally by President Kennedy and by Congress to engage in what today we call soft power, or the projection of American influence and American foreign policy objectives.
Don't hurt your weak knees while pooping today, Princess Andrew. Definitely. Totally normal comment. Totally.
By rendering aid to people. And that could be anything from helping people build effective water projects, to fighting HIV/AIDS, to malaria nets and anti-malaria campaigns, to building up development projects, democracy. We're all over the world.
And by the way, this is American soft power. You don't know what that means. You know what power means, apparently. You like power. But this is American soft power that has now been gutted for the ultra rich in America. Okay? We do this shit so we stay number one. We stay America is number one. And we have all the other countries watch what we do. And everyone's trying to be like America in terms of like money making. Not obviously our health policies and our retirement and worker and policies. Europe's far better on that by a long shot. But in terms of being the most secure, richest nation, it's America. And we also are the most secure and are able to flex our power because of all the soft power. But again, MAGA, I get it. A lot of you want this isolationism. You don't want that anymore. But then it's okay, though, because Trump is going to send American troops to Gaza and kick the Palestinians out and go fight Hamas directly. And I know that doesn't make sense, but you don't care, right? Because Trump's the president. None of that makes sense. None of it is rooted in any morals or any principles. Trump won. That's all that matters, right? None of that.
It's less than 1% of the overall budget. It's the whole foreign aid budget's around $40 billion a year compared to $900 billion that goes to the Department of Defense alone, without getting into other national security agencies and departments. So it's a tiny fraction, but that money means something, has helped to buy lots of goodwill for America, and also help to prevent diseases that come back and haunt us, and also prevent the disease of authoritarianism and autocracy, which is one of the key reasons that Elon Musk and Donald Trump want to dismantle it.
Right. Now, at the risk of getting too wonky here, on that exact point, this is a really important point, I think, about USAID. China has what's called the Belt and Road Initiative. So why is USAID...
Also, too, this is going to allow for China or whoever else, Iran, maybe they start some humanitarian thing now, and now they're helping all the countries that we were, and now all these countries that we were allied with by helping them and flexing our soft power, now they're going to be allied with China, Russia, Iran, you know, all the countries that, which again, if you're MAGA in your brain, you're like, that good, fuck them anyways, right? While also not reaping any benefits from Trump's tax cuts ever.
Important to combat Chinese soft power, and what are the implications going to be if we cede that ground to the Chinese?
Well, we're already hearing now, with them having pulled the plug on all foreign aid projects on USAID all over the world, that China is moving in to say, well, they don't want to help you, but we're happy to help you. I mean, one of the things people love about America is the compassion of America, the democratic solidarity of America, the fact that we're a country with a big heart, made up of people who come from all over the world, and we stand with people, and then suddenly we're sending the message that we're going to stop programs to help pregnant women and infants all over.
Or legal immigration, that MAGA lies that they say they support, but they really don't. We support immigration just the legal way. No, you don't. Liars. You don't. Just be honest. Like, why lie? You have the power now. Don't stop. Take the mask off. You don't have to have it on now. You had to be honest. You know, you had to lie to other regular people that aren't all up in your political shit that you watch every day. So you had to lie to your other conservative people. You have power now. Who gives a shit? Just say, I don't care. Trump. The Trump train's on the tracks. That's all I care about, right? I'm paying Andrew Moore again to laugh at the broke ass rubes. Well, unfortunately, I think we're all going to fit into that. It's all affecting us. It's a class issue, unless you're an ultra rich person. So you give me $5 and like, yeah. Or maybe if you're a millionaire, for example, you know, if I continue down this media path, you know, things are probably looking out. They're looking good for me. I'm going to hit a new tax bracket probably eventually. So if anything, Republican policies, if like I keep growing, they're going to just benefit me. They're not really going to benefit people that watch me mostly. That'll hurt them. And if I didn't have this media company, or if I didn't like start doing the shit I'm doing, I would be working. And I worked at the railroad. I worked factory jobs. I would be working a 9 to 5, clocking in, no problem. That's like what everyone does mostly anyways. That's what majority of Americans do. So these policies would be affecting me one way or another. Or say I fail, say in like a year or two from now, I don't know, maybe just Mercado Media doesn't work out. I don't know. It just was something bad could happen, right? Or the internet gets taken down or something. Guess who's going to have to figure out how to work again? I know how, but like I'd have to just get a job. And then guess what? All of the real bad of the Republican policies will immediately affect me, because then I'm back to working the 9 to 5 like grind, which is a grind, and most Americans work that, and it's honorable work. It's what most people do. It's literally what the majority of the country does. Okay. And Republican policies do not help that class, which is the majority, ever. Never, ever do they. Ever, 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 ever.
The world. We're going to stop programs to bring food raised by farmers in Iowa and Louisiana and California to starving people in Asia and in Africa. It just makes no sense, but it is coherent from a political philosophy, which is that America can only get its way by being a bully.
And we're seeing that same strategy play out right now with these tariffs and these trade wars. In your estimation, Trump basically pushing all of our allies away, showing them that America's word is no good anymore, that if we negotiate a trade deal, by the way, a trade deal like the USMCA, which Trump himself signed into law, that those are only as good as, you know, the person in power in the term that he's in it, and maybe not even beyond that. And so can you just speak on what that is, what the implications are going to be what the impacts are going to be more broadly on America's standing in the world and our ability to even have alliances when, even among our own closest friends, we are instantly picking fights from Canada to Mexico to Panama to Greenland and on and on.
I mean, I've seen TV ads that the Canadian government and Ontario government are running in America.
Thank you, Iconoclast.
Remember, we are allies. We are closest trading partners. We are friends. We go back and forth. We were together in World War II fighting the Nazis. And so good for Canada, reminding the American people of the relationship that we actually have. And that's something that obviously people who live in Michigan and Minnesota and the northern states understand better than people who live,
You goddamn right we do. You're damn right we understand better. Let's go. Thank you, Jamie. Damn right Minnesota knows best.
The South and so on. But, the Wall Street Journal itself called this the dumbest trade war in American history. Nobody can even understand why Donald Trump is doing it. It just makes no sense. It's incoherent. More chaos, more dysfunction.
Can you speak on the fact that really at the end of the day, what he was able to extract from the Canadians was border security that they had announced back in December? And so it would seem to me that what Trump is trying to do is just create a crisis, manufacture a crisis.
And then take credit for fixing the crisis, in which it's the same deal or worse than what Democrats did. The deal that Trump got for Mexico is worse than Biden. And Biden did it without nearly tanking the economy. Biden had 10,000 troops from Mexico, plus another 1,500 from Guatemala, and like 1,700 from Honduras. And the economy didn't almost crash.
Out of nowhere, look for whatever vague excuse of a concession he can cast out as some PR win, and then beat his chest as some master negotiator, and that none of this is really amounting.
The art of the deal. That's the art of the deal.
To anything.
They're building ill will all over.
Yeah. Trump's making moves. Yeah, making moves for fucking morons, for subtards. Yeah, for sure. If you think this Trump is just making so many moves, is doing so much things, it's because you don't have critical thinking. You don't have independent thought.
The world, including from our closest allies. And, it may be that you're right, Brian, that he knew all along he was going to have to give nothing, essentially, or rather get nothing, because what was given by Canada and Mexico was already given. I think they pulled the wool over his eyes. I mean, Mexico said they would put 10,000 troops on the border. They already had 15,000 troops on the border. That's been negotiated, I think, a year or two ago. So, he just likes a lot of razzle-dazzle and noise, but the leaders of the world...
He likes razzle-dazzle, noise, numbers, attention, and what you can do for Trump. What you can personally, if you all it takes is you just compliment him publicly, I've noticed. If you just compliment Trump publicly and say good things, then you're on Trump's good side. That's it. And then never go against him ever. Not even a little bit. Not even suggesting that you're against him. And that's how you can stay on Trump's good side.
Laughing at him. And we can recognize what a fraudulent pretense this whole thing was.
And at the same time, you've got Mexico and Canada as leaders who recognize that Trump really just is looking for some PR win, that he's looking for anything he can slap his name on and say, look, I've averted a crisis that, by the way, I created. But then you look at the Chinese, for example, they have placed retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. And so now this trade war is happening. We're in it because they're not playing into his gamesmanship. And so his effort basically to stave away again, a crisis of his own making, at least as it relates to Canada and Mexico, is not going to work with the Chinese.
That's right. Well, in fact, Elon Musk, who's obviously pulling Donald Trump's strings now, is completely in bed with the CCP and the Chinese government. So they're not going to do anything to help people in Taiwan.
And remember, nobody says we should be more scared of China than Republicans. No one says that. Democrats will say to be scared of China for legit reasons, for China trying to assert soft power around the world, their chip production, their potential invasion of Taiwan that's planned and they want to carry out, and taking Taiwan for them, like Russia's trying to do to Ukraine right now. So that's what liberals will focus on. But they're like, oh my God, MAGA. Why did Biden not send a cruise missile at the balloon? Huh? Oh, the drones are Chinese mothership drones and they're watching us. Biden is doing nothing. He's sleeping. Meanwhile, Trump and Elon are selling us out to China and making deals with China.
Or Hong Kong or the Tibetans.
You guys should be afraid of China, but we aren't. But an independent thinker will take a little bit of all that because there's still fears of China to be concerned of, definitely. But at the the systemic level of fear that Republicans have of China, I'm not with that anymore.
Challenge the authoritarian autocrats who they emulate. They think that they're...
I'm more scared of Russia, number one, probably India after that, then Iran. That's probably that's probably where I'm at with like order of operations. And Iran is like very close to India. It's like Russia, then Iran, India, Iran, and then China. It's like 4th or 5th on my list now. North Korea is probably ahead of China.
Be some political...
No, North Korea is ahead of China because they joined Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So they're even ahead of China now for me.
Having a fake trade war with China, but everybody understands the game that's being played. This is like Orwell's 1984. They basically want to cede a sphere of influence to China so China can just stomp on the human rights of anybody under them. And they want to be able to do the same thing here. I mean, to the point of ridiculousness of saying they're going to take over Panama and Greenland. States. We do need 2 new states in America, but it's not Panama and Greenland. It's Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. That's what we're fighting for.
All the while, by the way, with this trade war in effect, that means prices are going to go up on Americans because China, we import goods ranging from clothing to electronics to shoes to toys and everything in between from China. And so that's going to have absolutely adverse impacts on everybody in this country, thanks to a president, by the way, whose entire election campaign was predicated on this idea that grocery prices were too high. And that's
exactly. It's a hypocrisy. This falls into every category of every conversation ever. Yeah, it's a hypocrisy. Say one thing, do another.
He himself admitted that the cost of groceries is why he won this election, and his first act as president is to launch a trade war for no reason at all, where the consequence of that is that Americans are going to be paying more money for all goods under the sun.
The price of eggs, by the way, have never been higher in U.S. history.
Yeah. I want to end with this. What can Americans be doing right now? I get a lot of emails from people saying, look, I understand this is what Democrats are doing in Congress, this is what Democrats are doing in the Senate, this is what our elected officials are doing, but what can we do out here? You know, we may not be having women's marches with, millions of people taking to the streets, but there are people agitating at home. They're looking for some way to help. What can they do?
Well, first of all, we're not having marches of millions of people right now because Trump would undoubtedly deploy his private militia of...
That's what people are afraid of. That's the fear, and you just can't. Like if you have, you got like family you take care of, and you want to put your personal safety out there, or whatever. But we're back in that again. You're gonna see the federal unmarked police out there, and Proud Boys everywhere, and militia groups again. Just go back and watch my 2020 streams. I streamed out all. It's gonna be like the same thing.
Pardoned Oath Keepers and Proud Boys and 3%ers and violent insurrectionists.
But again, you can't be afraid of that, though. If you're afraid of that, then maybe your place is just to kind of just watch on the stream and share it and do that. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Or share other content. But showing up in person, though, yeah, you got to be prepared with what the right wing will have out there. They didn't have anything out there today, but it's cold. It's cold outside in Minnesota, right? These are the same people that, again, drive their vehicles through protest crowds, drive right through them. Or again, bring 3%ers, Proud Boys, whatever militia, and antagonize the protest group. And then then unrest will happen. And then the police will gas the protest group. And the Proud Boys or whoever will be told, hey, go stay away from them. Go stand over there. Flashbang out. How about some CS gas?
To come and clash with protesters, to claim Antifa's there, and to create street violence so as to give Trump an excuse for imposing martial law. So I think that the forces of opposition, which represent a majority of the American people, are being far more nimble and clever than that. And there are lots of rallies and demonstrations breaking out all over the country in different ways, in different places, but not allowing one to be the focus that they can try to go and crack down on.
Get organized then. I'm not worried about it. If anything, I was worried today that what I saw today made me not worried so much. What I saw in Minnesota. If I would have seen 20 people out there, 15 people, minimal amount of people out there today, I would have been like, fuck, dude, we're fucked for real. The fact that there was 800 to 1,000 people out there and the organizing of this protest today was kind of sus in terms of it wasn't mainstream. It wasn't known organizing groups that put it together. There was a lot of unknown, a lot of not so certain things with this protest today. But it tells me that despite all of that, despite all of the the pre-existing conditions of this protest that took place, whether good or bad, people still showed up and they still had things to say. A lot of people did. So the fact I saw this, it'll happen. It's just cold. Okay. Americans we're still, okay, a little soft, but it's cold. When it warms up, just wait. Okay. Look at LA. Now just apply that to other states that will definitely do that, but it's cold here. Just wait for the weather to warm up.
We need to be expressing solidarity. That's the watchword, solidarity with everybody who's under attack, whether it's high school kids in the LGBTQ community, whether it's refugees and immigrants who are under attack, whether it's federal civil service workers, people who just did their jobs as FBI agents and prosecutors. We are defending the whole.
So are you against what Elon has exposed with the what is he exposed? What has Elon exposed with USAID? Give me details. Give me exact details of what he's exposed of USAID.
American constitutional order. So when people say, what do we need to do? I say, what day and what hour are you talking about? Because we need everybody to be vigilant, to be awake to everything that's taking place, because we are witnessing an attempt to replace the American constitutional order. But they don't know
what do you can do for now, just like Rochelle Chi in the chat says, or Rochelle Shy, be keyboard warriors. Be that. Who cares? You're worried about MAGA feelings and like what they're going to think. That's why I made a post already like a couple days ago. If you don't normally post politics on Maine, start doing it. Start doing it. Like you don't have to go commit and then only post that. I don't even do that. I sure post a lot about politics, but I post there lots of things. I'm watching football. I'm doing this. I'm on a trip to this to go cover something. But I'm doing tourism stuff, so I'm taking pictures. I'm at some cool thing, I'm still doing normal stuff and my social media, but a lot of my social media is used to be outspoken about this, and you'll find out quickly. It's kind of like shaking them loose, because you'll put a post out there, then you'll see who on your Facebook or who on your Instagram or who on your following list is like just kind of on your list. But you don't have anything in common with them. If anything, they're kind of like your enemy. They're just quiet because you haven't said anything. And then when you say something, they're going to be on there like, oh, really? You have TDS? Oh, really? 4 more years. Are you going to be okay? Oh, really? Oh, wow. Are you hurt? Are you sad? And then you'll really see and don't even reply back. You could block them or kick them off or do whatever. You'll find out quick, but do that though. And the more of that, then these Republicans and conservatives that try to hide in our society, because a lot of them do, they'll be like MAGA. They'll log into their ultra MAGA 1984 Patriot 69 and share end wokeness and libs of TikTok posts, and then they fuck off back to their Facebook page and their little nice curated what they think is nice little Facebook following, and they could scroll. What better than to have your posts in their doom scrolling? Put your posts about Trump and Musk in their doom scrolling, and they'll be so mad. Then they can never escape. Then they can never get out of it. They can never be comfortable. They won't anyways, as if you haven't noticed, they won and they're still upset. So now just imagine if you give them something to be upset about. Let them rage. Let them not focus on anything Trump's doing, and while you stay focused. Andrew, for all your work and maybe a little help to buy toiletries for when Trump sends you to Gitmo. Oh, thank you. I hope I'm in cell 69. I'll request that when I get there. Put me in cell 69 or cell 420.
What they're messing with on their side, because every time they attack another institution, another community, another person, that's one more ally for us, and our forces are growing. We get stronger every day.
Well, Congressman, I appreciate you being in this fight and for taking some time out to talk to me today.
Thanks for everything that you're doing, Brian.
All right, so that was Brian Tyler Cohen. Mercax for examples. And what examples did you give? Where is the examples? Transgender musical for Columbia. That wasn't the thing. I don't care. I don't care. So that's your example. Sesame Street for Iraq. Okay, cool. I'd rather have them have Sesame Street than bombs. A useless gas station in India. A transgender comic for Peru. That's not true. Even the examples you did provide, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Okay, $10,000 for Sesame Street. Okay, Elon Musk paid $277 million and paid $43 billion while being the richest man in the world to buy the election for Donald Trump. Don't worry, Antifa will be back. Oh yeah, they will. You're damn right they will be. Maybe they won't hate me as much this time now. They might though. They might hate me because I'm not like anarchist about what I say and do. So they might hate me still. But yeah, they'll be out there and I can't wait for them to trigger the fuck out of you. I can't wait. I can't wait. I hope you think the world's coming apart. I hope you're so fearful of your little whatever the fuck you're at. And the black bloc anarchists are just out there with their umbrellas and they're spinning their umbrellas. And they're like, here we come. Antifa's in town. We're back, baby. And you're just like, no. Oh no, the Antifas. The Antifas are back. And then you can blame Antifa for everything. And then you can just say Antifa did that. They did that. Antifa were the ones that actually went into the USAID building. They did that. They are the ones that actually want to invade Gaza and take Gaza back. The Antifa wants to do all that. None of this is saving taxpayer money, Ken, but you know that. You already know that, Ken. You don't care. You already know none of this is helping taxpayers whatsoever. Not a single executive order or not a single move Donald Trump has made while he's been president has helped the taxpayer. Not one. He's made it worse. He has made the situation for taxpayers worse. Not one. He's made the situation better for people that watch right-wing alternative media and think culture war issues are like actual problems in the country. Oh, transgenders can't compete in sports anymore. What a victory. What a victory for the worker. What a victory for the working class. This really helps us. All right, you guys, for serious people, I'm going to be on my gaming channel tonight. Come on over. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This game this might be game of the year, barring GTA 6 coming out this year, which it's supposed to. So I played this for 6 hours last night. I wanted to keep going, but obviously I had to go to bed because of the protests today. But come on over. We're starting early. Give me like 15 minutes. I'm going to have a safety meeting, grab something to eat, and then come on and watch this game. It's like a movie. It's like a movie, but it's an RP. I don't know. You just got to come watch it. It's so good. Like it doesn't feel like a video game. The voice acting's good. The music's good. The environment's amazing. Open world decisions. I got to mix potions and that's tough. Whatever. Come on over, you guys. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on my gaming channel. We're having a blast. So come on over. I'll put it in the chat. I'll redirect all of you over to it anyways. So come on, you guys. Mercado Gaming on YouTube. Amazing. We'll be live again tomorrow. We'll go through the day's nonsense. I don't know any protests that are coming up, but any protests the rest of the year, I'll be out there if I can get to them. Thank you for the members on this channel. Everybody supporting Mercado Media. You can support the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Any way to help helps me cover news IRL because I don't have any sponsors. I don't have any corporate interest paying me to go do things. You guys are the ones that are sending me out there to go and cover news. So I do appreciate that. The links are in the description. You guys have a good one. You guys subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new. Put your notification bell on. Join the Discord server. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.